end of time.
O'clock.
Audio's good then?
What? Yeah,
it should be on. Okay, that's on. All right.
What's going on,
Just
you
making
guys?
sure everything's all right.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
It's the first day of 2025.
We didn't do anything. We didn't even drink.
I fell asleep, I think.
Yeah. We didn't care.
Before midnight.
We fucking partied too hard anyway.
Pookie was getting upset about like
Yeah.
all the fireworks that people were setting off.
Yeah. And there weren't that many, really.
There weren't really, yeah. I was actually expecting them to wake me up at midnight, but it didn't. I must have been really out of it. Honestly, all we did last night, we watched like a bunch of movies.
We watched two Fu Manchu movies.
We watched Arrival, and then for some reason we watched. Yeah. Tom's like, we're gonna watch like an old Boris Karloff like Fu Manchu movie, and I was just like, okay.
And then we saw the finished plot of Dr. Fu Manchu, Peter Sellers.
With Peter Sellers.
That shit was fucking funny, man.
It is funny, although you know
it's better than I remembered it.
It wasn't as funny as I remembered it, though.
But the thing is, I didn't remember it as being a period piece that was taking place in the 30s. It's like it's the sequel to the first one.
What a weird fucking movie that is.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being that weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I don't know why we got on the Fu Manchu kick, but we were just like, what? Because there's a whole bunch of them on Amazon Prime, and Tom's like, I'm going to pick one. I said, anything but Castle of Fu Manchu, because that one was on MST, and Christopher Lee is in it, and I love him, but wow, that is one of the worst movies ever made. Yeah. It's awful. Sorry, Christopher Lee. I do love you, but that was a terrible movie. It wasn't his fault, I'm sure.
It was America's fucking original Chinese supervillain.
Yeah. I mean, goodness.
Kind of cool stories, actually.
Yeah.
We were laughing at the Boris Karloff one. He had a whole army of bald black dudes running around in their underwear.
Myrna Loy was in it, too.
Myrna Loy was in it, yeah.
Making male sex slaves, and I was like, all right, you go, girl. Yeah. 1932 that came out.
Yeah, looking her dad.
They were naughty back then.
Yeah, her dad's making damn mind control drugs.
Yeah.
And then a side perk for his daughter, he's gonna make him a sex slave. Yeah. In front of his wife. Or girlfriend.
Yeah, it was a wife or girlfriend.
I think it might have been
wasn't
girlfriend.
real clear on that.
Yeah, girlfriend.
Like her fiance or whatever the hell it was.
It was kind of fucking racy for the 30s. It was, what,
I thought it was.
32.
1932.
It's worth seeing it. I saw it for free on Amazon because I had Amazon store credit.
He had all these store
It's
credits.
only like $2 to watch it.
Yeah,
and
I think it's $2.
It asked me, you want to use your store bonus credit? I said, yeah.
And I'll watch anything with Boris Karloff in it. Yeah. You guys know. CB said, I remember the bells, I guess, for New Year's, but was way too drunk to fuck my girlfriend. She was, for some reason, very happy about that. What does that tell you?
Tells me you need Viagra, man.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how old you are, CB, but yeah. Well, we like I said,
you're more trouble than you're worth, and you need fucking Viagra.
Like I said, I think we fell asleep at like 11.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, I could stay awake till midnight, but they did do like a Barbarella, at the Trap, like for Tuesday night. Because at Saturday night, the door guy, who's a friend of ours, his name is JR, he's like, you guys coming Tuesday night? And I'm like,
probably not.
We'll try. I'm like, but probably not.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not so much that we're old, which we are, but I kind of think it's more
a dangerous
like,
night.
It's a dangerous night, like it's amateur hour, and it's just like there's tons of cops out. It's like there's way more people out, like drinking way more than they're used to.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, I don't know if we want to like risk, because it's kind of a long drive for us. It's like 30 minutes.
And Florida does roadblocks.
Yeah, so I was just like, I don't know, it might not be.
Yeah.
I mean, some of our friends went, like I saw the pictures and stuff, and they had a good time, but
yeah,
I was just kind of like, man, I don't know.
Although I have kind of fucking heard that the governor that we have now, he kind of sees Florida as party central, and I heard that he told the cops to be light on only like take the really drunk motherfuckers off the road, and people who are habitual drunks. I think they let because think of the crazy shit we got away with.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I was fucking blasted off my ass one time. Fucking went down a wrong off ramp next to a cop. And fucking rolled my window down and says, what the hell happened to this road right here? He goes, no, that's under construction. I said, all right. And I pulled it. And I was fucking loaded.
And he didn't do anything.
He didn't give a shit.
But you didn't like come across as that. You were just kind of like, and like
I don't
said,
really show. I don't really.
And
show.
honestly, like I probably would have made the same mistake.
Yeah.
Sober.
Yeah.
Because I can't see that good at night, so it's just kind of like, and they just put fucking in Florida, like the highways are always under construction, like perpetually.
Well, that was I-4 at that time.
And I-4 is like pretty and I-4 we try to avoid I-4 whenever possible because it's a lot better than it used to be, but it's constantly under construction.
It's now like an 8-lane.
And so they'll just like
lane.
throw fucking cones on there, and it's just like what is happening? Like where am I supposed to go? Like I don't know where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
Especially at night, because like I said, my night vision has gotten really bad.
We got caught like in a 20-car pileup. It happened right in front of us. I went around it. I saw a dude get killed. I was looking right at him when his fucking truck got hit. He just vanished.
That was when we were coming back from Tampa.
Yeah, we're coming back. Yeah, and then I was like, oh shit. So I just drove through all those wrecked cars and looked behind me and saw headlights going through the sky like that. All the people piling up. What was it, about 15 cars, I think?
I don't even remember.
It was a big deal.
That was a long time ago. It was like
a long time ago, yeah.
I
went through it. It was wild, man. It happened right in front of us. Bam, 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 bam. All those people were drunk. Oh.
Well, yeah.
It was Saturday night.
Yeah, it was some kind of... Was it? I don't even remember.
Saturday night about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Something like that, yeah. Phantom Ass Arrival from... whatever those numbers are, was Charlie Sheen. No, it was the one about the aliens coming to Earth and like the linguists.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, it was actually really good. I thought we had seen it, but I guess we didn't.
Yeah.
And then for some reason we went off on the Fu Manchu thing. I don't know why that was.
Yeah.
But
there was a couple things that were stereotypical. You know what I mean? Fucking.
Well, it's
they're trying to make the world's militaries look like a bunch of fucking fascist idiots and shit, and then coming down on the Chinese. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on. The Chinese would not be attacking fucking aliens. They're pragmatic as fuck.
Well, it's based on a novel, and I'm not sure when the novel came out.
Yeah.
So it might have been like an older novel. I don't really know.
Look, man, the most aggressive, fucking craziest military in the world is the U.S. Army. I was in it. The U.S. military thinks it can just do anything it wants, because in the past it could. China's always been pretty cool. So, same with Russia, because they don't want to bite off more than they can chew. But America, fucking our leaders are stupid. They're like, oh, yeah, we'll invade that country, no problem. They think every country's Iraq. And they lost Iraq. Nothing but losing wars, man. Losing wars to keep dudes on pedo islands. That's all it is. Old men, staying rich, fucking young girls. That's.
I mean, old men should not be running.
Yes, exactly. Old men should not be in charge of shit. If you're over the age of 60, you need to not be in charge.
CB says 38. Okay, so
yeah.
not young, but significantly younger than we are.
Yeah.
38,
says, that's a good age.
It is, actually.
That's how old I was when you met me.
That's right.
I was still like a kid then at 38.
Yeah,
I look at those pictures of me.
Hindsight.
I look back at my pictures of myself. I'm 38, full head of hair, fucking black hair.
38 was kind of
looked like I was 28.
Yeah, because it's like that was around the age that I met you.
Yeah.
And because I had just gotten divorced, and that was my slut year, pretty much.
It was so fun.
Because I just got divorced.
I was with her with the slut year. We were slutting together.
And with others.
And with others. And with them. Yeah. It was a circus.
It was a lot of fun.
It was fun, though.
Yeah. I don't think I'd want to repeat it, but it was
another time.
It was a lot of time.
It was another time.
We were much younger then.
Yeah. Well, the scene was different then, too, though.
Yeah, not much different, though.
It seemed like it was more positive. There was a better mix of people. Now it's all just fucking old people. And then youngsters that show up, they don't know what the fuck's going on.
Well, yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
all the pros have retired. We're the last of them.
Well, there's still a large contingent, I will say, that's hanging in there.
Yeah.
It's like our age, or actually even older. Yeah. So,
Anybody who got fat dropped out.
Well, pretty much.
That's basically what happened.
Pretty much.
Mostly.
But there's still like I said, there's still a lot of people hanging in there.
Yeah.
So Phantom says, getting into this is going to be like a fun topic.
Yeah.
For the show. I mean, it's disgusting for sure. But yeah. So Phantom says, if you were Ken Douglas, the guy that we're talking about on the show today, and had access to famous celebrity corpses, would you do what he did to their corpses? I think I can answer that for Tom. No.
Oh, she's asking me?
Yeah.
No. Fuck no. No. Corpses, I've seen lots of corpses, fucking saw a fucking beautiful fucking Israeli girl just dead as a motherfucker over in Egypt. Her head gone and shit. I helped bag and tag her. And she was like a fucking 9, her fucking body. All right. She was wearing a fucking tube top and everything. No head, though, all right? Not for 1 second did I even see that body as a human being. It doesn't. I walked in the back of that bus. It was a crash rescue. Me and my unit got deployed to out in fucking Sinai Peninsula, fucking Egypt. We were part of a UN mission. When I looked, I was like the second cleanup crew. There were two-man cleanup crews going there to get those bodies and bring them back and tag them and bag them. There's about 15 dead people in there. Cut in half, one of them. It was bad. Well, two of them were cut in half, now think about it. When you see dead bodies up and close and you smell it, you know what I mean? Fucking body, that coppery smell of fucking blood, and then the smell of like stomach juices.
Yeah.
And then the smell of shit because their fucking guts are fucking ruptured and shit. The last thing you fucking ever think of is fucking anything sexy. You're just like, God damn. And the thing is,
unless
to me,
you're a freak.
To me, I guess, I don't know if it's defense mechanism and psychological defense mechanism. To me, they all look like mannequins. They didn't look like people.
That's probably what your brain does to kind of deal with it, because that's probably what my brain would do too.
Yeah.
And the first thing I would go to, I've never seen anything that horrible in real life.
Yeah, carnage.
But I know the way my brain works, and I would immediately go into like black humor mode.
Yeah.
To deal with it, because that's how I deal with shit.
Dead people look like mannequins to me. The person that's there isn't gone. I was talking to a dude one time in another accident. His car flipped upside down right outside Fort Campbell. Dangerous fucking road. He was a civilian, but it was a military dude that fucking hit him head on. Drunk. I got off my bike because I was on a motorcycle. I could go around the traffic jam. It was only like a few minutes old. And went up and saw the accident, saw that dude hanging on upside down, and the fucking dude fucking stumbling around. The other guy from the other car stumbling around, fucking acting a fool, in denial of what happened. And I go up to the dude. He's upside down, man, because he still had a seatbelt on. He said, "It's all right, man. It's going to be good." He's looking right at me. And he just fucking, those eyes just fucking vanished. He just...
Yeah.
His mouth was moving. He was trying to say something, and he just fucking faded away. Like the lights went out. And he was just glassy eyes staring at me. And I looked up, and where his feet and one of his legs was broken and wrapped around the fucking brake pedal.
Yikes.
Yeah. But he had internal injuries and stuff.
Well, yeah. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
So like you said, so what we're saying is it takes a very special kind of person to be sexually aroused by that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in, because this guy, I don't remember who it was that recommended we do a show about this guy. Thank you, whoever it was.
Yeah.
This sent me down a rabbit hole. I'm sure I'm on a fucking list somewhere, like all the shit I look up. But it sent me down a rabbit hole because I'm like, look, it seems like the vast majority of necrophiles that they know about are also serial killers. You know what I mean? Like Ted Bundy and fucking Jeffrey Dahmer and Nilsson and all them. But so I kind of got more interested in like necrophiles that were not serial killers, like this guy.
Yeah.
And there are a couple examples of those. So I don't know, man. It's interestingly though, the proportion of gender as far as this goes is about the same for serial killers and necrophiles. About 90 to 92% of known necrophiles are men. So very, very unusual for a woman to be a necrophile. I might talk about one kind of famous one that was a woman if we have time, because like I said, the Kenneth Douglas case is not super, super complicated, so it might be kind of short, but I do have that like on the back burner.
With serial killers,
talk about her, but
with serial killers and necrophilia, like Green River Killer, they asked him because he kept going back to those bodies. Some of them rotten. And he's like, "Why are you going back to them?" And he just said, "What was free." That's a weird fucking way.
Get a fleshlight.
Yeah, it was free because you didn't have to pay. Because he was, he was killing hookers and he would run hookers too. He didn't kill them all the time. It's just he was constantly with hookers. And if there was a dead one laying out there, why go get another? I got one right there.
Don't waste it.
Don't waste it. That's a weird shit. And then they'd be rotten. Partially, some of the cops said that they did the math. Some of that shit had been out there for fucking weeks, and it was summer, which they'd have been rotten. And it was near the water, so he'd go down there and clean off. And then he'd take his clothes off. And then when he was done, he'd go down there and fucking go back out in the water and fucking rinse off and then put his clothes back on. Then go back to his wife. Man. But I think for most serial killers, based on, some of the FBI profiling type shit that I've read and books from profilers that I read a long time ago, it's not so much the necrophilia that they're into. What they're into is they're reliving the assault. And it's a power thing. They still have possession of that woman. So they're like a cat playing with a dead mouse that it killed. It's like that.
Well, see, that's why I think for that reason, I got kind of interested in other dudes like this guy who are not serial killers, who just seem to be into having sex with dead bodies. Yeah. You know what I mean? And not killing them. Just being like, hey, dead body. You know what I mean?
Most serial killers that do that seem to be doing it because they can reoffend. They can still continue to hurt that woman.
That's what I'm saying.
Even though she's dead, in his mind, he's still desecrating her.
Yeah, and still controlling the situation.
Yeah. It's a power thing.
Yeah, which, I was looking up too. Like I said, I'm sure I'm on a list somewhere. Because I was looking up like all these papers about, studies that have been done on necrophilia and stuff like that. And like the necrophiles that they've studied, like in them asking them the reasons why they did it. And the vast majority, like the main reason, some of them gave more than one reason, which I'll get into in a bit. But the vast majority was that they wanted to have like control over an unwilling partner. Like they got off on that.
Kind of like what Dahmer was into. He wanted a living zombie.
Yeah.
Because he had power over a person.
Someone that would never leave.
Yeah, they'd never leave. They're real placid. They'd do whatever they said, A living sex doll, basically.
But like I said, they have sex dolls, you guys. Like, just get one of those. I know they're expensive.
It's some kind of, some of those guys that are into the necrophile aspect of it, there's some kind of morbid fascination with death and helplessness.
Yeah.
And they've eroticized that. It's kind of like the ultimate sub. It's the ultimate sub and dom relationship.
Yeah.
The sub is so submissive that they're fucking dead.
Yeah.
So it's like 100% control. But then I think there's some kind of a morbid fucking fascination with it. Like them going to the grave with this person type of deal. I think I've seen photographs of, it was like male erotica that was fucking taken by a dude who evidently was a necrophile. He's painting them white. You know what I mean? And making them look like they were dead. They were crime photos, actually. But they were living guys. Yeah. He was taking pictures of living guys, having them impersonate dead people. But I think if I remember, I don't remember where I saw those pictures and who the dude that did it was. Because I think he did kill some of them. But a lot of the other ones, he just had them impersonate dead people.
Yeah, because some people, I didn't actually know this, but I was watching this video about it earlier. And they said there's actually like 10 subcategories of people with this particular paraphilia, as they call it. And, kind of on the low end of the spectrum is people that just like to cosplay necrophilia, as in they just like the partner to pretend that they don't want to actually kill people, but they enjoy the person like pretending that they're dead so they can do like whatever they want to them, which is also kind of weird to me, but whatever. They're not hurting anybody.
The dude that I'm remembering was mostly that. But I think he ended up killing a couple people.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
And then it had all those, because it built up to actually doing it. And they had a bunch of his photos, and I don't remember where I saw them. I don't remember if it was in a book or a fucking television program. Or maybe it was online where they were talking about it. But they weren't dead. They were just painted
made to
white,
look like,
white powder. And what was cool about it is it reminded me of like a photo shoot from fucking Propaganda magazine.
That's what I was thinking. It was like,
he was in
like a goth kind of.
Yeah, what's that guy's
crossover?
What was that guy that Tanya would go out with? He was in that magazine.
John Koviak.
John Koviak. Yeah, they were like John Koviak type dudes.
Right.
Pretty goth boys. Skinny. Pale. Nude from the waist up. Laying there like they had been victimized, but they were alive.
Yeah, like I said, there's kind of it's kind of a gray area, obviously, because if you're not hurting anybody, and it's a willing person that's like, okay, I'll pretend I'm a dead person because you're into that, then it's like you can't really do anything about that because nobody's hurting anybody. Nobody's like consenting adults and stuff like that. But on the other end of the spectrum, you have shit like, well, this is kind of toward the end of the spectrum. At the very end of the spectrum, you have like serial killers that are also into that kind of shit. So that's willing to like kill people to do it.
Back in the mid-90s, man, little goth girls that fucking have their friends take pictures of them like they were dead in the coffin and shit. They did laying on top of a grave and shit.
Yeah, we all did.
Although it wasn't quite the same thing.
It's not really the same thing. You're not really trying to be like, hey, I'm a dead person.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, because goths are real into like all the funerary imagery and all that kind of stuff. You're not really, it's not really a necrophilia kind of thing.
No, it's
really.
style.
Yeah, it's just kind of
it's kind of like
thing.
that fucking Victorian fucking gloomy style.
Yeah, like they're more into that kind of shit. They don't really like, or not really into hanging out with dead bodies or anything like that. Most of them aren't anyway. So I kind of was, like I said, I went down this rabbit hole. Phantom said, as Danny Rolling Ghostface, he was the one that recommended this topic.
Okay.
So
it's a good topic.
Yeah, it is a good topic.
Makes for a good show.
Like I said, it's disgusting and weird and shit like that, but at least he's not a serial killer, so I guess we can kind of have fun with it, even though it's fucking gross. And it's like, you know, I kind of feel like, even though technically, you could say technically he's not like physically hurting anybody, but obviously he's emotionally fucking up the families of the victims, like of the people whose loved ones were desecrated by his shenanigans.
High Desert said that he tried to take some of those photos of himself, and he said they came out fucking goofy. He hopes no copies exist. That's because you took them bitches in color. They had to be in black and white. If you shot that shit in color, it just looked like a teenager's fucking sitting there in makeup and fucking goofy clothes on top. It didn't look like anything. But if it's fucking black and white photography, then all of a sudden it looks
everything
better.
Looks like way better. And
it looks
way
a lot more
artier.
Serious. It looks like a cover of a fucking. Looks like a fucking the cover of a fucking Joy Division fucking album.
That's right, man. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Like I said, it looks like instant arty.
Yeah.
You know? Phantom says an escort is cheaper than a sex doll. Probably, depending on the escort, because like I said, a good sex doll, now like a cheap jack sex doll, you can probably get one for like a lot cheaper. I don't know what the lower end ones are going for these days, but like for a good one,
$1,500.
Yeah, you're gonna pay at least $1,500 for that,
so
which is a lot of money. But the thing about it is that escorts.
That a high-end escort will be that.
I mean, a high-end escort would be that. You could probably get one for less than that, but I don't really know, buyer
and you only got her once. The doll, you own that.
Yeah, you can play with it all the time. Which, we know from experience.
Yeah, we got one.
She's a lot of fun.
Yeah, somebody was saying, Tom, you didn't bring the doll out for this.
Because it's the Necrophile.
You gotta understand something, man. I've seen dead bodies up close. I handled them, all right? Paramedic style shit that we were doing in the infantry, okay? There's a big difference between looking at a doll and a dead person. It's just night and day. I look at that doll, it's just like a work of art. And we keep it sitting in a chair and it's looking cool,
It's not really the same. Like we joke about, hey, like bring the girlfriend into or whatever, but it's like we don't really think of her as like a person, or a dead person.
It looks like a statue.
Yeah, it just kind of looks like a statue. You know what I mean?
Corpses don't have that effect at all when you see them. They look deflated because there's no blood pressure in them. The heart isn't beating, so they don't have any fucking definition to their body. They flatten out. The color looks all wrong, and the facial expressions are kind of like ghastly because it's just an empty mask, a real relaxed looking mask. And they're absolutely still, which you can't fake that by laying there. It's a weird feeling. They are an inanimate object at that point, and it's decaying before your eyes. So it is not fucking sexy at all. I don't know what these motherfuckers are thinking.
Well, look at, we bring this up a lot, but look at like Blowfly Girl. There's people out there that have paraphilias that are very, very off-putting to most people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, as gross as it seems to most people, some people are into this shit. I don't get it. Most people don't get it.
That one Israeli girl that I packed up from that bus crash, alive, she was probably about an 8 out of 10. She had a fantastic...
You said a 9 earlier.
Maybe that. It was hard to tell because I knew that she didn't look as good as she really would have looked if she was alive. Because remember it just changes the demeanor of the body. It like I said, it looks very deflated.
Yeah,
and it was like
I can't imagine. Yeah. I've seen a few dead bodies in my life. Nothing like cut in half or beheaded or anything like that. But it's like you can tell that's a dead person, and it's just not. Yeah, there's nothing that says, "Hey, I want to jump on that." No, like nothing.
Nothing. And we were going through people. Looking at her ID. She had a bunch of different IDs and a couple different languages. Some of it was Egyptian, some of it was in Egyptian, and some of it was in Hebrew. But we could read the numbers. It was because we knew I don't remember the numbers now. I think the Hebrew numbers were the same. The Arabic numbers were different, mostly different. And fucking, you could see her birth date, and she died on the day she died was her birthday.
Yeah. And
you could see pictures of her, man, on her ID with lifelike expressions, and you're just, man, that shit was heartbreaking. You're like, God, that chick's gone. She was maybe about 20.
I mean, I just hope she didn't know what hit her.
She was asleep with her head up against the window. And when they got sideswiped by a flatbed truck that had a bulldozer in the back of it, and it was at night in the desert, Sinai Desert, so there was no street lights. And the truck driver forgot that he had a wide load. And that blade went right down, went the front of the fucking bus and all the way down the driver's side of the bus by about 3 feet. And
that's like some Final Destination shit, y'all.
She was rested up against that thing like that, and that fucking blade went and just whacked. The only thing on her was the bottom jaw. It was fucking bad. And her head was just a fucking mushy wig inside a plastic bag when I saw it. And her head was just... It was just in fucking bone chips inside of fucking meat.
Like I said, it's just all I can think of is like at least she probably didn't know what hit her.
No, I don't think she knew what hit her.
I mean,
it would have been.
She was just sleeping and then.
Because the merge would have been over 100 miles an hour at least. It probably been about 130 because they're going fucking 60 that one way and 70 the other way. Just
It's like I don't want that to happen to me, but honestly, I don't want that to happen to me because I don't want somebody else to have to see that. That worries me more than anything. Because remember how I told you before how there was like a weird thing, particularly in the Victorian era, where dudes would like commit suicide by jumping in front of a train, and I'm like, wow, that is a really asshole way to kill yourself because it's like you're traumatizing everybody on that fucking train and everybody that had to clean up your splattered ass. Like why would you do that to people?
When we walked up on that bus, awful. The front of the driver's side window, you know what I mean? Like the window he looks out of was gone. And his fucking legs from the knee down were fucking hooked over the fucking windowsill, the bottom windowsill of where they were driving. And I walked up there and fucking I saw his socks and his shoes and shit and just touched his ankle, grabbed it like that. And it was just cold, And then when I ended up going in there later on, his upper torso was sitting in the aisle. He got cut in half somehow.
Yeah.
So when I grabbed it, it was just legs and a pelvis. He was split in half, right around the waist. His guts got fucking tangled up around the feet of the chairs. The bus chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The seats. Yeah.
Yeah. Guy with me fucking took his knife and had to cut it because I was pulling him out. And the guts were coming out. And he goes, hold on. And he pulled his knife out and he cut it like that because it was wrapped around. I don't know how it had wrapped around. He must have all that moving around in the fucking bus. The bus must have fucking went up on its side and then came back down, from the impact. I don't know. But it was wrapped around there. It was weird. We couldn't get him in the bag. We had to stack one top on the other. You know what I mean?
Like I said,
carry him like that.
I don't envy people that gotta fucking clean up that shit all the time.
Yeah.
That must be. I mean, you get used to it after a while, like you get used to anything, but still. I mean, seeing something like that, I mean, that's one of the most horrible things.
Yeah.
I remember that when we first did that horror convention.
Yeah.
And we were at the the Friday night thing, which was kind of like our sidetrack show, which is everyone's drinking and Tom stood up and told that story.
Yeah.
And you could hear a fucking pin drop in that fucking room. Like after he told that fucking story about the bus, everyone was like, because somebody asked like, oh, what's the most fucked up thing you've ever seen in real life? I think that was like the question.
Yeah.
And some people said some kind of fucked up shit, but then Tom was like, I was like, tell him that. Yeah. Tell him the bus story.
Yeah.
And he stood up and told it, and everyone was just like,
yeah. And we were drinking. We handed out alcohol to everybody because we closed the doors.
Everyone was just like super quiet after that. They're like, well, you win. You win.
It was wild.
So yeah. Phantom was saying, like, hold on a second. Somebody said, Phantom said dolls don't make noises or leak fluids. Mm-hmm. And then High Desert said, wouldn't the rubber make squeaky noises?
No.
Shows how much you know. The good sex dolls, like the ones that we have, is not made of rubber.
No.
It's made of, what is that stuff called?
TPE.
TPE.
It's a material that's very soft and kind of malleable, and it's sticky.
A little bit, yeah.
When it's clean, it's just sticky. You powder it with baby powder to make it so your hand can slide over it. It feels kind of like skin.
Yeah, kind of. Not. I mean, you can tell that's not a real person.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do have to like maintain it though.
Yeah.
Like you have to put powder on it and everything.
Yeah. Best company right now is Butterfly Doll. If you guys are looking for it. All right. I'm friends with a dude that fucking designs. He's a French porn star guy, and he helps Butterfly Doll design the dolls. He's got a brand new one that just came out. Big eyes. It looks like an anime chick. The eyes move. He's got fucking different LED eyes that go into it. There's those dudes that are into doll fetish do not want a human looking woman. They don't want it to look like a...
Which kind of makes me feel better, honestly.
Yeah, because of the uncanny valley.
Yeah, because it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Like you said, for the corpsey kind of... Because that's why you said when we get one, she's like, I don't really want one that looks exactly like a person.
Yeah.
I want one that looks a little bit elf-like or not exactly like a real...
Ours is a Disney character.
Yeah.
It's Ariel.
It's Ariel from
Little
Mermaid. But they couldn't call it that because obviously Disney would sue them.
And I wanted a Jessica Rabbit, too.
Eventually we'll get one. But like I said, they're not cheap.
Yeah,
like
they're not cheap.
She's much bigger, but like...
Yeah, and another
heavier.
Thing, people are saying, man, that thing's small. What are you into, children? It's not that small. We have we have friends that are that size.
That's what I mean. We have friends that are our age that are that size.
But if you're going to buy a doll, make sure it does not exceed 100 pounds. They got them out there 140 pounds, and the dudes that own them fucking hate them.
Yeah, because you got to lug them around.
You got to lug that shit around, and it's dead weight.
Yeah, because if you're planning on making videos with them or like doing stuff with them, like lugging them around everywhere like becomes a chore because they're heavy. It's like a dead... You know, it's not exactly like a dead body, but it's dead weight. They're not helping you.
We got it.
And they're heavy.
We got to make videos with Jen with. That's also.
Yeah, we just haven't got around to it.
Jen's idea, so we didn't think of that my idea. It was actually Jen's idea to come up with it. Because
she only weighs, what, 80-something pounds? 90-something pounds? Something like that. So she's still heavy. She's still kind of a pain in the ass to, you know. And you have to loosen their joints up because their joints are like really tight when you first get them. So it's like you have to keep pulling their legs back and forth so they move more like a person. Because at first they kind of move like like a robot kind of.
And then you got to buy clothes for them. People forget that.
Yeah. And you can't put dark colored clothes on them either because it stains.
It'll stain them. Yeah, the dyes will seep in.
So ours just wears white or pink.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the time. Because, I mean, she doesn't wear much, honestly.
Big pink wig.
Just big pink wig, like little pink or little rainbow bikini or something like that.
And she looks like anime. Well, a Disney character.
Yeah, she doesn't really... She looks kind of like a real person, but not really. You can tell that's not a real person.
Yeah. The dudes that are into the doll fetish want it to look like a doll.
Yeah, which I get that more than wanting it to look like a person. Yeah, that's creepy.
And what's hip right now is something that looks like anime, an anime doll, with kind of like extreme proportions. She's skinny, but she's got a big old Brazilian butt lift on her. And muscular legs, big boobs, little
something
waist.
That you can't really get in a real person.
Yeah. No human woman is built like that. And they take a lot of pictures of it. They have sex with it, but they're mostly taking pictures of it. Dressing her up, doing like a photo shoot like you would a pinup. Yeah. And making videos of it.
Yeah, that's a whole subculture.
It's a whole subculture.
It's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And it's not as weird as you might think. Like, no. I don't think it's all that weird.
Yeah, my friend who's fucking Because I went to the dude when she was saying we need to get a doll. I went to a dude that was an expert, and I found a French fucking porn star who works for those companies, and found him on fucking X, on fucking Twitter, and he has like 6 of those things, and 3 of them he designed, and he fucking said get this one, or this, that kind of shit.
He gave recommend because it's a lot of money, so it's like we wanted a recommendation from somebody who knew what they were talking about.
Yeah, and his whole house is done up. His whole Paris apartment is done up like a doll factory. It looks like women live in there. And they hang from the ceilings from their heads, so they look like they're standing there in their little high heels or roller skates or whatever, and they just look like statues in his house. He says he loves it. He's around femininity all the time.
Yeah, but without all that annoying actual woman stuff.
Well,
like women talking.
He has real girlfriends.
No, I know. I'm just teasing.
Yeah. It's just he's a kind of a macho dude, and he's like he's into cars and guns and shit like that, but he likes to be surrounded by feminine things, like he has a whole stable of women living. And
he makes clothes for them and everything, and does their makeup and I think that's pretty cool. Actually.
He designs new models for these Chinese companies.
Yeah,
the Chinese make them.
He's super into it.
Yeah, the Chinese make them, but he's designing them. He uses AutoCAD to design them.
High Desert says, so TPE is like Play-Doh. Not really. It's kind of more like... Is it like silicone or...
More like... Yeah,
it's more like silicone.
Silicone feels like silicone, but silicone's twice as heavy and a lot more expensive. You can get them made out of silicone.
You can, yeah.
But they're heavy.
Yeah.
And they're expensive.
Yeah, the TPE ones are like the one step down from the silicone ones. Yeah. Because they still kind of feel like a person, sort of, but they're not as heavy as the silicone
They feel like a very high-end sex toy.
Yeah. But that's what they make, like, like I said, the really, really expensive ones are made of silicone.
Yeah.
But, the next step down, which are still pretty expensive. Like I said, even the one we got, I think, was $1,300, $1,500, something like that.
It was about $1,400,
something like that.
Something like that.
But they go up to like $3,000 in the TPE stuff, but the silicone ones are more than that.
I'm going to show them, before we get into this, I'm going to show them Vivi's new doll. But it's got to be kind of like R-rated. It can't be an X-rated photo. He's got these posted up on X.
High Desert says maybe humans will evolve to look like sex dolls. I mean, who knows?
Well, with transhumanism, you might end up downloading your consciousness into an android that looks like that. I'm all
for that.
Yeah.
Christy predicts a total of 3 sidetracked off-topic moments in tonight's program. Oh, there'll be more than that, I'm sure. But we've already gone off-topic. We haven't. So we're kind of talking about, because we're kind of talking about people that are necrophiles, and then we're talking about sex dolls, which I wish more people that were into necrophilia would get that.
Okay, check this out. He's using CG and AI to make them move, but those are his dolls.
Yeah. That's AI that he's... they don't actually move, obviously.
But they look like that.
But that's what they look like.
That's what they look like, yeah. And he's using AI to do that.
Now I just kind of wonder... And I'm sure this video is going to be demonetized, so I'm not even bothering.
They had clothes on.
I'm not even... No, I'm just not because of
what
that.
We're talking about?
Because of what I'm going to say.
Okay.
You know how they have sex dolls that look like children?
Yeah, that's weird.
Now I'm kind of wondering, in light of this show that we're talking about, do they have ones that look like dead bodies?
I don't know.
I bet they do. I would bet $20, because that's about all I can afford right now.
Yeah.
I would bet $20 that somebody out there is making sex dolls that look like dead bodies specifically for that fetish.
Yeah.
And if they aren't, maybe I should get into that. Maybe that's a niche that is not being served.
That's the one that
it's a little fucked up, though.
That's the one that he designed. Look at the eyes on it. It's like an anime character. And they move because they're recessed in. He made that kind of eye for them. Weird, huh? Dude's very inventive. He's got some LED eyes, too, that he made that they're going to offer. So we've got to find the LED eyes.
Yeah, there's CB said if I was to get a sex doll, I would get one that looks like one of the... I guess that's a Game of Thrones character.
They got them.
They do have...
Yeah.
The place that we got ours from, they have like a lot of ones. They can't really call them that because of
Copyright.
licensing and copyright, but that's who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you know what you're looking for, you can find exactly what you want.
Yeah, you can get them to look like elves from fucking The Hobbit or fucking Lord of the Rings.
And the thing about it is that you can put, because they all come, as far as I know, they all come bald, so you can put your own wigs on them, and you can put your own clothes on them, so you can, and do your own makeup and shit like that. Like, you can make them look like whatever you want.
A lot of the dudes buy them, and then they turn them into a character.
Yeah.
They're just buying a platform, and from that they change the hair and the clothes.
Because we put different hair on ours, and Tom does different makeup on it. You gotta watch. You can't put like liquid makeup. It always has to be powder.
Look at the eye. It's an LED eyes, digital eyes that go in.
Okay, CB said yes. You can get.
Go ahead.
A dead. Well, yeah, but I'm trying to read, and your arm's in the way. You can get a dead sex doll. I saw one at the fetish bar. I kind of figured, because like if I thought of it, I know somebody else had thought of it. I saw it at the fetish bar, and the guy got told not to bring it back.
Yeah.
Like I said, if there are ones for PDF files, I was like, I'm sure there are ones for necrophiles too, because which in a way, I don't know. I have like such a weird.
No, the feds looked at the PDF file dolls, and they were like, "No, allow it," because that. Could save
that's
some
what.
kids.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's like it's creepy, because when I saw them.
Yeah.
Because it comes up, like, when you're looking for sex here, I'm like, ooh, that's creepy. But then I was just kind of like, I don't like it. It's creepy, but I think they should allow that because it's just a doll. It's an object.
It's an object,
And if that encourages one PDF file to just get that,
instead of alone.
Instead of victimizing actual people, then that's obviously a net win for society. Yeah. So, yes, maybe we should. Yes, people don't like it.
You think of them as a 3D drawing anyway. Yeah. It's just a drawing in 3D. They're not real people. Let me give you another.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I kind of feel like maybe the same thing applies to people that are necrophiles. If they have sex dolls that are catered to that fetish, if you want to call it that, then maybe we should encourage that. Like, get that instead of like maybe desecrating someone's dead loved one. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's not exactly the same as a PDF file who is, obviously victimizing a live person, but it's still traumatic for the relatives, the friends and relatives of the person that is, being victimized like after they're dead. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just kind of like a whole gray area. I know people don't like to think about it, but it's just kind of like just to be pragmatic, it's like probably that's the best solution. And I know that that's not going to be enough for the most extreme versions of it. They want the real thing. You know what I mean? But if just the ones that are in the middle are like, no, that's good enough and don't fuck with anybody in real life, then, like I said, I think that's a not win. So I kind of went, like I said, when I was reading about this dude, I kind of went on down this rabbit hole. Now, we did a show about the very famous, probably one of the most famous necrophiles that's not a serial killer, Carl Tanzler. We did a show about him back in probably like 7 years ago, I think that was. And it wasn't just him because I had forgotten, but we did a show about him and another guy named... what was his name? Anatoly Moskvin, I think is his name. And he was like another one. So, but I kind of feel like it's... so I had gone down a necrophile rabbit hole back then, like looking all that stuff up. But then I kind of went down another one at this stage. So I was kind of looking at... I was like, how far back does this go? Because any fucked up thing that we can think of nowadays... It goes back, like, everything's been thought of. You know what I mean? So I was looking up... I looked at the Wikipedia page for necrophilia. And they were saying that even as far back as fucking Herodotus, which we're talking...
Fucking BC?
BC 484 to 425 BC. That's when he was alive. He wrote about, in his Histories, which is one of his most famous works... He wrote about a thing that happened in ancient Egypt, thousands of years ago. And he said there was, reportedly, an incident where an embalmer had been having sex with some of the women that, the bodies that were brought to him. And after that got out, then men, if they had hot wives that died, they would leave the wives in their house until they started to rot before they sent them to the embalmer, so that wouldn't happen.
We're protecting her purity. Didn't want the
So
body to be
even
desecrated.
thousands of years ago, people were like, let's make sure she's yucky, like, before she goes. And honestly, that might not have stopped them. I don't really know, because sometimes it doesn't.
A lot of that shit that would be considered to be fetishes existed forever, and a lot of times they were enshrined in religion. Necrophilia was enshrined in religion in Mesoamerica. The Mayans and the Aztecs would send women to have sex with mummified dead kings to keep them happy.
Yeah.
Some wild shit. Greco-Roman stuff and Mesopotamian shit got wild. There was a lot of stuff about women having sex with bulls as part of a religious rituals. Okay.
Really, it was dudes wanting to watch that. Woo,
yeah, probably. Yeah. Basically, it's a donkey show.
It's for our religion.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
That's how that went.
There was kind of a breastfeeding fetish religion in Rome where they had statues and fucking titty milk flew out of it.
I could see that.
People would drink it and it was evidently hallucinogenic, and it was a lactation fetish cult.
That's still a pretty big fetish.
Yeah, so anything
lactation, that's kind of hot.
It's hot, yeah.
It's not like my main fetish or anything, but we've seen some videos like that, and I was like, that is kind of hot, weirdly.
Yeah, busty chicks, one's milking the other and drinking it. Like, oh, it's so wonderful. Yeah. So fucking funny.
Yeah, that's but like I said, they're not hurting anybody.
No.
So I'm not bothered by stuff like that.
Little children do it.
I'm not bothered by that kind of fetish. It's just when you get into this kind of stuff, into like gross shit like necrophilia or like pooping on people and shit like that. That's when it gets kind of nasty.
Yeah, scatophilia and weird shit.
That's what High Desert was saying. It's like I don't get all the gross fetishes.
Yeah, see, the thing is I think some people are kind of fetishizing nastiness and like dirtiness. Of filth.
I understand why that happens.
Bullfly Girl.
Yeah, I understand why that happens.
Yeah,
but I can't relate.
It's kind of like they probably are very repulsed by it, so throwing themselves into is kind of like facing a fear and then they eroticize it. Some shit like that.
Yeah. Well, like you said, because one of the things that we talk about a lot is that a lot of things that people find arousing are things that are like wrong or like taboo in some way. Like even if you look at like the top porn categories, it's usually like incest or something like that, where it's like most people would not do it in real life. But it's like because you're not supposed to do it,
they go do
that makes it hotter. Yeah. Like watching somebody else do it, even though it's fake.
It's fake.
Like on the porn. But like, so I kind of feel like that's just like a really extreme example of that. Like this is something that is disgusting. This is something that you're not supposed to do. Like everyone will frown at you for doing this. But for a certain segment of people, that makes it like that much more hot for them.
One of the serial killers, when he was a little boy, his brother, who I think was... I don't think it was a twin, but was a little bit older than him. His brother got abducted, sexually attacked, and murdered by a serial killer. And as a little boy, that fucked him up so bad, he thought about that so much that over time, he eroticized it and he became a serial killer doing the same thing.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can see how that happens.
And I think in his case, it might have been becoming the killer, you're now controlling it.
Yeah.
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 So you've conquered it by becoming the killer. That's not how you do it. But
well, no. Well, it's kind of the same kind of thing. Like it's a less extreme example of like, for example, like women that have been sexually abused. Mm-hmm. Some of them, like a certain percentage of them, sometimes will come out and become like very promiscuous.
Yeah. Or go for the kind of guy that attacked her.
Right. And that's kind of their sort of unhealthy way of trying to like reclaim their power, their control over the situation, because they felt like they couldn't control the situation. Like I said, that's not the healthiest way to do it, but I can understand why that happened.
See Fran Drescher. You know what happened to her? Yeah, the actress. But that's what she did.
Yeah.
Dude busted into the apartment. She was there with her husband and a girlfriend. They were all in drama school. Dude came in, raped both of the girls, and then fucking left. He was a black dude. She ended up dumping the fucking boyfriend. All right. He ended up going gay. I guess because they were tied up. I guess he felt helpless. I don't know.
Or he might have been gay to
Might have been gay to begin with.
I mean, and he was just closeted.
Then Fran just went for nothing but black dudes. And, they had her on fucking Howard Stern. He's like, well, how does that happen? And she goes, well, I was just conquering my fear.
Yeah, like I said.
That's exactly what she said.
Yeah. It's not hard to imagine that's, like, if most people would probably, that's the first thing they would think of. You're trying to, like, regain your control because control was taken away from you. So you're trying to, like, reassert your power over what fucked you up.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that's not weird.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of feel like most people would do that. But
fear of black men made her chase black men.
Yeah.
The mind is a fucking weird thing, man.
It is. And, it's kind of fascinating, though, like, how this weird shit. But to me, like, that kind of stuff, that does not seem strange at all. Like, that seems like a complete, like, one-to-one.
I can see
that's why that happens.
I can see the logic in a way.
Sure.
Okay,
I can too.
This was a bad experience, but I'm going to flip it around by taking control of it.
I mean, I can't say that it's like...
The thing is that she's displacing it on these other black dudes that had nothing to do with that shit.
Well, yeah, that's
the fucking unhealthy part.
That's what I'm saying, why it's not the healthiest way
She's not conquering a rapist by going out with a black dude.
Right.
That's just a regular
because that's like a different...
That's a different dude.
That's a completely different guy.
Right. That's a different black dude. Okay.
Yeah, in a way, it's like, because she's almost kind of like demonizing an entire race because of that. Yeah. So it's just,
on the slick, slightly, that's what she's doing. But she went out
I don't think she's doing that on purpose.
No.
But I can see why her mind went there, though.
And the dudes she was going out with were high-end guys. They were all basketball players. They all had money and shit.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, look at a lot of girls chasing those dudes. There's a whole industry of white girls fucking chasing black athletes.
Well, they have
there's a whole stories about it. Yeah.
They have a lot of money.
Yeah, they have a lot of money. They're waiting for the playoffs. They know who's going to get a contract. They're fucking jumping on him right as he gets a contract.
I mean, it's the thing. Yeah.
I'd be careful of girls like that, though. It's all about them.
Yeah, well, you gotta watch most people, honestly. A lot of people are just out for themselves, and
some dudes have said women don't run the race; they wait at the finish line and pick the winners. So maybe it's just another version of that. They're waiting at the finish line and picking the winners.
I don't know. Like, I guess like a particular kind of woman. I guess, but like I said,
instant security.
Yeah.
He's going to be a millionaire.
But being a woman myself and like knowing a lot of women throughout my life, like most women that I knew were not like that. But maybe that's just because I didn't hang out with women like that because I didn't really like that.
A lot of women are materialistic.
So, but
Jen's not materialistic because she kind of in a way came from poverty. Well, kind of not really poverty, but she was poor when she was a kid.
Yeah.
So she was used to not having anything. Yeah. And it didn't really bother her not to have anything.
I mean, it bothers me, but it's just like I'm used to it.
She's kind of used to it.
So I'm just kind of like, whatever.
She's got everything fucking now she needs, and she's just, I don't even think she's still used to it yet. I take it for granted. I grew up like this.
Well, yeah, you grew up with money. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, and I'm also constantly anxious about, I'm not going to have enough. I'm not going to, sort of, you know what I mean? So it's like a different situation. But like I said,
my income's secure. If anything goes wrong, we can walk from this house. Even if we can't sell this, we can walk from this house. We'll go to fucking Russia or fucking or fucking the Philippines, and just on my income alone, we'd be wealthy.
Well, we have thought about retiring there, like retiring.
And we had to bring the cats,
Well, yeah, we're not going anywhere without the babies.
And it wouldn't affect her job, then it wouldn't affect the show because we could do this show and her job from any country.
Yeah, because I can do this from anywhere. So it's like everything, I'm freelance, so I can do shit from any place. As long as I have a computer and a Wi-Fi connection.
And see,
I'm good.
The Philippines is a U.S. protectorate, so my money's coming from the federal government. It's military stuff. I got that fucking Jack Reacher money, if you know that program. But VA money. And fucking my money over there, I'd be a wealthy man. I'd be a wealthy man there.
Yeah, we have thought about like moving to another country that had like where your money would go farther.
Yeah, and because they're a U.S. protectorate, they would allow me to spend that money there.
There's probably lots of countries where that would be the case. So I don't know. We'll look into it like as we get older, but you know what I mean. Yeah, Rebecca Dunn said I've always been the provider. Yeah, I mean, I have been at various other times. Most of the situations I've been in have been equitable, which is kind of my preference, obviously. I did bear most of the burden for my ex-husband the first few years because he was an immigrant, he was British, and so he had a hard time getting work and stuff like that. So for a couple of years, I had to kind of carry. But, but he got a job afterward, and then it was fine. Like, we both made about the same amount of money. I think I made slightly more, but... What?
CB has asked me a question there.
Where?
Right there.
Tom, if a woman's boyfriend fucks men, he is gay or bisexual?
It could be either. They got closeted dudes that will date women, but they're into men.
Well, and I kind of feel like
dudes that are just bi.
And I kind of feel like bisexual men sort of get forgotten about because there are bisexual men.
Yeah, there's some dudes that just don't care.
That are just kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
Which I respect that. It's just kind of like
that's his orientation.
Yeah, I don't meet a lot of them, honestly. I don't know if they're just not
most
telling
dudes
me.
Are straight.
Or
yeah,
because I know a lot of straight men and I know a lot of gay men. I don't know. I've maybe only known one or two people in my life, men that were.
There's more pressure on
that were bisexual.
There's more pressure on men to make some kind of fucking decision. You're either gay or you're straight. The bi thing.
But you don't gotta be, man.
But I'm talking about male society.
Yeah.
Because the straight guys are gonna say no. If you do shit with dudes, then you're gay.
Then you have to go over there.
Yeah, we're gonna revoke
that room.
Yeah, we've revoked your straight card. That's what they're gonna do.
That's so silly, though. Yeah. Like I said, it's just
men decide what men are. It's like a.
I know, but it's like sexuality and in just regular biological terms, it's just like such a vast. There's so much stuff, and it just seems like really dumb to like limit yourself to one thing. You know what I mean? I guess it's much easier for like women to be like, yeah, but bisexual. It's like I like men, I like women, I like whatever. It's just kind of like it's not a big deal. But for men, it seems like a bigger deal. I don't really know why, but maybe we'll get over it at some point. I doubt it though. I doubt it will happen in my lifetime. That's for sure. But women are sure like a lot more, open about that kind of shit. They're just like, man, whatever, it's all fine. And honestly, most women I know, even if they wouldn't call themselves bisexual, have had an experience with another woman. Like, but they're just like, it was just college, or we were just best friends and shit happened, and you know what I mean? But like, most of the women I know, like, shit like that has happened, but they're just kind of like, it's like not a big deal. And they wouldn't even like call themselves bisexual or anything like that. But I mean, I probably would, but most of them would not, because it's just not a big deal to them. They're just kind of like, shit happened. You know what I mean? I just liked her and shit happened, It's just that. 'Cause we're a lot like looser about that kind of shit. All right, so I should probably go to the bathroom.
Okay, go ahead.
Before we get too much into this.
All right.
Because we've already wasted
We got to get in the goddamn case.
Well, yeah.
Let's get to it. They're sidetracking us. Asking all these good questions. Asking all these. She's walking away. You see her booty. Her booty's looking so good. Go ahead and shut the door. I'm talking about your booty.
Right.
She doesn't want me to talk about her booty behind her back. Yeah, I mean, dudes are going to decide what dudes are. It's like a damn mafia. And, just because some dude is bisexual, he's having sex with some dude, that doesn't mean he's straight. Because he has sex with women. So a lot of the straight guys are going to go, no, if you're having any kind of sex with dudes, you're gay. And some people will be like, well, what about all these women that the guy had sex with? That doesn't mean a whole lot to straight guys. Because me and Jen know gay guys that have sex with fucking women all the time. That like women. Just because the guy's gay doesn't mean that he's not having sex with women. All right. So, but if you were to ask him, I'm talking about Toby. But if you ask Toby, you said, Toby, are you bi? He goes, no, I'm gay as shit. And I said, what are you fucking that chick for? Yeah, but I love her. That's the... People are going to do what they want to do,
What did I miss?
Said, bisexuality is hard to define. Just because a guy's having sex with men and women doesn't mean he's bisexual.
Well, I was saying,
gay.
While you were in the...
Because gay dudes, we know gay dudes like Toby, they'll have sex with women.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, yeah, but and then if you ask Toby, so you gay or bi? He goes, well, I'm gay. And he says, why'd you have sex with that woman? He goes, well, because I love her.
Yeah.
So it's a different kind of thing.
Well, like I said, I kind of feel like what I was saying when you were in the bathroom is that women have a lot more like gray area kind of.
Yeah.
Because I said most women I know have had some kind of sexual experience with a woman that was like their best friend or something like that, but they wouldn't call themselves bisexual necessarily. Yeah. But it's just kind of like, something that happened and it's not a big deal to them. Like for dudes, I guess it's like a bigger deal.
It's because of hormonal profiles. Fucking, if you have testosterone in you, high testosterone levels is kind of like black and white thinking. Women have a lot of progesterone in them, and I've had high progesterone levels doing fucking drugs too, so I know what it feels like. Progesterone makes you a little more ambiguous. There's gray.
I like being ambiguous.
Right. But it's
I don't like the black.
Some shit that
I don't like the black white.
Yeah, thing. but to say some shit that women have invented by some kind of superior philosophy or anything, it's hormones. It's hormones that are doing those behaviors. I've been on some fucking badass hormones, trenbolone, which is like ultra hardcore testosterone, and it'll make you a fucking serial killer. You want to kill people. That's how. Don't do that shit. Okay, make you very aggressive, and at the time you think it's totally normal. Because it's not a drug.
That's what was so frustrating.
It's a hormone. And you're just...
You were acting like a crazy person.
Yeah.
And no one could tell you otherwise.
Yeah, and I thought I was fine.
Nope.
Thought I was fine.
And everyone was like, holy shit.
Well, men and women's normal hormonal profiles are like that. If you have a dude and he's transitioning into a female, eventually he'll be a female hormonally. If he's on hormones long enough. And the thinking and the feelings and everything will be just like a woman, because hormonally they are.
Like
goes
I
the
said,
other way too. Woman to transition into a man, she's fucking bumping a lot of testosterone. Fucking female to male transitions. I've seen some of them that if I were to look at that dude, I would never suspect that was a biological female. Just the build and everything. Not all women can pull it off. They don't have the shoulders, but some women can. And you'd see that dude. You go, I want to tangle with that motherfucker. He's huge, just fucking ripped. Look like a man. Fucking beard, everything. Look like a man that could whip some ass. No penis there, but you would never know it because it's injecting so much testosterone.
Like I said, I'm not concerned. I'm just...
And the whole mindset of that...
Whatever.
Of that guy.
It's all good.
The whole mindset of that trans man, I guess, is that of a man. It'd be indistinguishable.
But I do kind of feel like, in general, not anything like... Because obviously, like, all individuals are different. But in general... Dudes do tend to have more... It's
like a black and white thing.
Very black and white thinking, whereas women's thinking is a lot more amorphous.
It's hormones, though.
But I've met examples of others that were different. So
hormonal levels in people are not constant. Some dudes are very low testosterone.
Because I kind of felt like even when I was growing up, even before I went on, hormone replacement, like after I went through menopause. Like, I always felt more... Like, I didn't really feel like a dude. I still felt like a girl. But I had, like, a lot of more... I didn't like real girly shit. And I kind of liked more masculine stuff. Not like cars or sports or any bullshit like that. I don't like anything like that.
Horror movies.
But, like, horror movies and all that. And math and all that kind of stuff. So I was, like, more into that kind of stuff. Which is more traditionally male kind of interests. So I don't know. But I don't feel like I had more black and white thinking. Quite the opposite. Like, my thinking is just kind of... very amorphous.
You were never a man.
No.
Don't for a second think that you were a man.
No. I'm just saying that in general, like if you were just looking at me from an outsider perspective and you didn't know me, I probably am a lot like more masculine than a femi. Because like I said, I was never super femi.
Before we go on to the subject, I just want to fucking wrap this up real quick. In Western civilization, because of the philosophies and the shit that people are taught in social studies classes, most of it drivel. One of the big things in the Western is that we believe in equality. And from equality, what they're saying is everybody's the same. And there's fucking nothing further from the truth. Not all men are the same. Not all women are the same. Men and women are not the same. Everyone is different. Everyone is an individual. Some dudes have a lot more testosterone in them than other guys. Some women are a lot more fucking progesterone and estrogen than others. They're hyper feminine, just fucking big boobs, big booty, you know what I mean? Fucking, it just, people are not the same.
Well, nobody except weirdos is saying that everyone's the same.
They got weirdos that think that, though.
Well, yeah, I said weirdos.
Yeah.
What you might be misinterpreting is that some people are saying everyone should have the same
access
opportunities and the same access to the law and the same rights and stuff like that, which is not a controversial statement in my opinion. No one anywhere, unless they're crazy, is saying that everyone is the same, because clearly they're not.
Part of the Constitution and the American agreement is that everyone has equal access to the law, that we all have the same rights. Doesn't mean we're all the same.
No one's saying that.
Right,
like I said, except crazy.
We all have equal access to court system.
Everyone is just saying no matter what your shit is, you should have the same rights as everyone else has.
Yeah. No matter how dumb or smart you are.
Which, like I said, that should not be a controversial statement.
Some people
think it is, but those people are idiots.
You're right.
So we're not talking about what they have to say. Okay, so finally,
get to the fucking shit.
Can we get to the fucking subject? Yeah. Like, you're yelling at me like it's my fault, you know what I mean? Like, even though you're the one that was like going off on like hormones and whatnot, as you usually do. So like I said, I got into the necrophilia thing, and like Herodotus talking about what now?
Autumn Carroll says, "What's your testosterone usually sit at, Tom?"
Okay,
before we get into this, is the last fucking question.
No, it's not.
This is the last alpha level teenage male is around 1,200 nanograms per deciliter testosterone. Right now, I'm probably sitting at about 1,800 to 2,000. I'm on a lot of shit. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of it's test. Some of it is fucking nandrolone, which is 19-nortestosterone and improved testosterone. So I use a blend of a bunch of stuff. There have been times where I was maybe like 3,600, you know, where I'm doing like 3,000 milligrams of shit a week, you know. But you don't live like that all the time. It's just you're just trying to engage like a growth spurt, you know, burn off fat and stuff. But the thing is, I'm old. So testosterone doesn't affect me the same way it would, say, like a teenager. I'm more resistant to it. Okay, because I've been around longer. And our metabolisms have kind of slowed down. So it's not quite... The older you get, the more tolerant you are of that. Of taking hormones. Okay, that's it. That's what I'm doing.
Are you sure?
That's it. I'm not talking anymore.
Now, CB said, my personal view is fuck who you want, as long as it's consenting, not a family member or a child or an animal. Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's about where I'm at, too. It's just, I don't worry about it. None of my business. As long as everyone's consenting adults, do what the fuck you want. I'm not really concerned about it. None of my business. So, yeah. So, like I said, even as far back as fucking Herodotus, talking about ancient Egypt, people were worried about necrophilia, and people, embalmers in particular, be like, man, we can't, like, drop, my wife was hot and she's dead now, but we can't take her to the embalmer. Like, we have to wait for her to rot a little bit, which is, like, fucked up. When I was looking at the Wikipedia necrophilia page, and it said, like, you know, gave examples, all because, you know, gave examples all through history. And most of them, honestly, the vast majority were serial killers. But one of my favorite ones, if that's the right term to use, but I just saw this one, I was just like, this is kind of weird. I was kind of interested in this. This was a dude from the 18th century, and his name was Sir John Price. And he was a Welsh, like, nobleman. He was a baronet. And he had... two of his deceased wives, I guess he had one wife and she died, and then like another one that died or whatever. He had both of them embalmed and kept them on either side of his bed. So I'm assuming he slept in between them and, you know, had like a little threesome with the dead bodies. So, you know, there was that. And he had a third wife. I don't know how she felt about this. I don't think that's recorded. But the third wife, when she died, he actually had a faith healer come and try to resurrect her from the dead. Not surprisingly, this did not work. I don't think there was any reports over whether he also had her embalmed and like put in the bed too. I don't know how big this bed is. I don't know what's going on with this. And then there was a foursome with him and 3 dead bodies. I don't know, man. It's just kind of like, Okay, I don't even want to know when that's situation. I mean, I kind of want to know, but I don't want to know. You know what I'm saying? As CB mentioned earlier, Jimmy Savile, who we did a show about a while back, was also rumored, apart from all of his other faults, let's call them that, was also reportedly a necrophile.
I think there was a rumor
so
about that.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that on the show that we did about him. Like, the staff members at Broadmoor said that he had told them that he told them that he had sex with the dead bodies in the mortuary.
In the morgue, yeah.
In Leeds, he's like, oh yeah, I know the mortician. It's like, can you imagine like how much of a douche you'd have to be for that to be a flex?
Jimmy Savile was a fucking douche and a half.
To like go tell people, oh yeah, I'm friends with the mortician. He just lets me go in there and fuck the corpses.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, what? Okay. Like, I don't really know like why you would think he would tell that to people and they'd just be like, awesome, dude. I don't really get that. Like, that dude was a fucking piece of work, man. I'm glad he's dead. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, we did a show about him. Like I said, we also did a show about Carl Tanzler, who, to me, even though he's a necrophile and this is fucking gross and everything, his case seemed just mostly kind of sad. You know what I mean? Because he was the one that was super in love with that woman, Maria Elena Milagro de Hoyos. And he was super in love with her, and it's like, I don't even think they had a relationship prior. Wasn't he her doctor or something like that? I can't remember, like, the relationship. But she died, like, fairly young. And he went and dug her up, and then, like, made, as she started to deteriorate, he kind of, like, built, like, he used, like, plaster and clothes and all this other, and silk and all this kind of stuff, like, over her body. So it's like, remember he put the tube, like, in the vagina and...
Yeah.
And all that. So he was just like, he didn't kill her. She died of like natural causes.
It was the Serbian guy. Where was he from?
No. He was just, I don't remember where he was from, okay. But he just kept her for a while until they found out, and then like obviously her family was horrified.
That was the dude that had the toilet paper tube.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah, toilet paper tube. Yeah.
So, like I said, that case is disgusting and horrible.
Yeah, that one made me walk off a show.
Yeah.
I had to walk off the show, people. I've walked that one fucking really, it was like, I can't handle this shit.
Like I said, to me, though, it's just like, that just seemed kind of sad more than anything. Like, that dude just seemed kind of sad.
Yeah.
Like, I guess
looking for a girlfriend.
He loved this woman so much that he's just like, even after she's dead, I'm gonna...
It's bad when you go look for your girlfriend at the cemetery. And you're gonna dig one up.
Yeah, I mean, fucking pro tip, don't do that. I mean, it's...
What have we come to?
Yeah.
They had a Russian guy that was digging up all the little girls. Remember that?
Well, yeah, we did a show. When we did the show about Carl Tanzler, we talked about him too. Anatoly Moskin, I think his name is. Yeah, we talked about him too. That was like 7 years ago.
He dressed them all up like dolls. You couldn't see their faces. He had like 7 or 8 of them in his room. He lived with his mom. His mom thought didn't know they were real bodies. She just thought they were dolls that he made.
Can you imagine?
They were embalmed corpses.
Raised
fresh that he dug up. I don't think he was having sex with them, though. He said that he was trying to rescue them from death, basically. That they were alone down in there. But he had mental problems.
Yeah. I kind of suspect he was probably having sex with them.
There was no evidence of that, though. You know what I mean? There was no vag in those fucking
That's true.
things. So I don't think you could have sex
with them.
The
Carl Tanzler one did have
I think he was, If there's a vag involved, then they're having sex with it.
I mean, if they go out of their way. Yeah, CB said Ed Gein was technically a necrophile.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah, he was. But like I said, he was also a killer. Yeah. Like the ones we're focusing on now, like
he started as a necrophile though.
Aren't killers, yeah. But he was just like into that kind of shit. Did you hear the thing that I said about the dude in the 18th century? Who was like a Welsh nobleman, and when his first wife died, he had her embalmed, and then his second wife died, and he had her embalmed, and he put them on either side of his bed and like kept them there, so he would have like an eternal threesome, I guess. That's
exactly like the fucking Shamar Pelzig from fucking The Black Cat, where he had all this fucking brides embalmed in the fucking glass coffins. It's Satanist. Great movie. The Black Cat. Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi. That's a Satanist fucking lord with his fucking mansion.
I wonder, now I'm kind of wondering
necrophilia.
if he had like some kind of weird thing. It's like, well, I had to fuck this one and then this one at the same time, so they don't get jealous.
Yeah, and then they go,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's just, I'm sure there was a whole thing. I'm thinking too much about this probably. Well, like I said, I'm into weird shit. I'm like a horror writer and stuff like that. So it's like, this is where my mind goes. I'm kind of thinking about what's the situation here? Like what are the parameters? You know what I mean? It's like, I kind of don't want to know, but I kind of do want to know at the same time. So of the study, as I brought up earlier, they've done studies. I kind of feel like necrophilia is a pretty well-studied paraphilia. And of the studies that they've done of them, like they asked them specifically like what their reasons were for doing it. And like a lot of them had more than one reason, like I mentioned. But the vast majority, I believe it was 68%, said that they wanted a non-resisting and non-rejecting partner. They wanted somebody who couldn't say no, who wouldn't, fuck with them or like say anything bad about them
wouldn't
or anything
judge
like
them.
that. Or wouldn't judge them. Yeah, that was like the vast majority said that was the appeal of it. There was also 21% that wanted not just any dead body, but like their lost partner. Like so this is like where Carl Tanzler would fall, because it's like that was somebody he was in love with when she was alive, and so he wanted to continue having sex with her, even though I don't think they had sex when she was alive. Did they?
I don't know.
I don't even remember. I don't think they did.
I think
he just loved her from afar.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then
when
like after
buried,
she died,
he's like,
he was like, "Woo, score!
I'm gonna save her." Yeah,
I'm gonna go get her.
A lot of those dudes from Based on Memory, they saw themselves as saving them from death, gonna get them out of the ground. So they're not alone. That kind of shit. They're down there crying. That kind of crap.
That's what that Anatoly guy was.
Yeah.
He thought that they were under there. Like, he thought that he could hear them crying under the earth.
Yeah, all by themselves and shit.
All by themselves, and they were alone. Yeah. And so he thought that he was rescuing
he
them.
liked, like, 8 to 14-year-old girls.
Yeah, he was also a little bit of a pedophile.
Yeah. Like I said, there's no evidence he was having sex with those bodies. But he did dress them up like little dolls and had them wrapped up.
There's pictures online, y'all.
Yeah, you couldn't see the faces. He gave new faces and...
Yeah, they're all wrapped in clothes and stuff like that.
Beanies and to keep warm and shit. And he had them all inside his fucking room. His mom saw them all the time. She didn't know that there was a dead body in there. She thought they were little dolls he made.
That's not the first thing you would think. I
mean,
weird. When you go in your son's room.
Yeah, he's keeping them all company. Weird.
I don't know, man.
He had emotional problems.
Yeah. Well, clearly. And then there were 15% that were just generally just motivated. Like, they just thought dead people were hot. There was that. So that's, I kind of feel like that's like true necrophile.
Yeah.
And then there were some that were motivated, 12%, motivated by a desire to remedy low self-esteem by expressing power over a corpse.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's basically fucking what Jeffrey Dahmer was all about.
I kind of feel like that was his thing.
Didn't want anybody judging him or looking at him. He's having sex with some dude, and he doesn't want that dude looking at him. That's part of it. He wants to be by himself when he's having sex with a dude.
But not.
No performance anxiety.
Time. Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
In a way, like, I can almost... Like I said, I don't condone it. It's weird. But it's like, I can understand... how somebody might come to that mindset.
It's maladjustment.
Yeah, because you kind of think if you have like
behavior.
if a dude, for example, like has really bad experiences with sex, like maybe he, picked up some women or went on dates with women and they, said, "Oh, your dick's too small," or "You stink," or whatever. It's just like, and that like really got to him. And so like after a while, if that happened more than once and he was particularly sensitive to that kind of stuff, then he might get to a point where he's like, you know what? I still want to have sex with women, but I want them to like shut up and like not look at me and not
really be here.
Not really be here.
Yeah.
But still be here. And like I said, I kind of feel like I wish that these dudes would just get sex dolls.
Get the doll, yeah.
Because that's what you want right there. It's a lot less stinky.
Nobody has to die. The sanitation's a lot better. It's cuter. It's just a piece of art. It's like 3D porn.
Yeah. I mean, so please just do that. Like, don't go digging up dead bodies or killing people, for Christ's sake.
Well, here's the thing. Because that technology's improved, it would not surprise me if dudes that normally would be into that are getting those dolls.
Yeah, and like I said, if that's good, that's a net win.
That's a lot healthier
for society. It is it's still probably not 100% healthy, but it's obviously a lot better than fucking digging up bodies,
digging up somebody's relatives,
or killing people, which obviously you shouldn't do. But like I said, that's kind of why I'm sort of a big advocate of the sex doll industry. Even if people are creeped out by the stuff that they make, like I said, that maybe looks like children or dead bodies or whatever, it's just kind of like, yeah, but you have to think that a certain percentage of people with these fucked up paraphilias are using that as an outlet instead of doing the real shit.
Yeah, but most of those doll dudes are not into that, so that's just a very small. Most of the doll dudes are regular dudes.
Yeah, that's what and I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm not trying to imply.
Don't equate the two.
I'm not trying to imply that like dudes that are into sex dolls, because that's a different like specific fetish too.
Another thing is that there's a stereotype. When you think of sex doll, you think the inflatable one with the fucked up face and the mouth and shit.
That's like from the 70s.
That's like, and that was a gimmick too. That was a gag.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nobody took that shit seriously.
Yeah, very few people just bought that to actually have sex with.
So fucking what they have now. All right, fucking is very cute. Their sculpts are fucking great. That's kind of what guys are looking for, and they're outside the realm of human norms. And those dudes fucking like that. I understand it, and people have to get used to it because within a few decades, those things are going to be walking and talking because they're going to put AI in those.
Yeah.
And eventually that thing's going to have fucking motors and servos that'll stand up and walk around and have sex. Which, that would liberate a lot of women from fucking incels.
Having to put up with fucking...
Yeah, to put up with some dude.
Well, see, the hilarious thing to me is that I have seen online... like some incels being like, oh, when we have like AI sex, so what are you women gonna do? I'm like, hooray.
They're
like,
still gonna get dudes? Yeah.
And they also kind of think it's like, well, don't you think that women would also get male ones if they wanted to?
Well, they could.
Yeah.
They could,
so it's just kind of like, we're not gonna cry, dude. It's just like, fine. Go have sex with the AI doll. Leave us alone.
Some beefcake AI fucking...
We're not upset about it.
Beefcake fucking AI dude fucking jumped up. Looked like one of them fucking... Mapplethorpe fucking photographs or something, fucking leather daddy.
Yeah.
Or the motherfucker could be just like shredded Asian dude from hell, look like looks like fucking Bruce Lee. The women have all kinds of fantasy shit.
Yeah.
But or it's fucking it's like a black dude, but he's got wings like a fucking angel and shit. They're gonna do all kinds of weird shit.
I kind of feel like most women probably would not bother.
Yeah.
But it would be, I mean, the technology would be there. Like, if you wanted one, you could get one. Yeah. So it's like, so that's what's funny to me, that, like, dudes think that, oh, women would be just sit there crying, oh, we can't find a man, or blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, one, nobody wanted your stupid ass in the first place. And two, if we wanted a sex doll, we could get one, too.
And three, the numbers don't work out.
And we don't have to listen to your whining.
The numbers don't work out. It's always the top 20% of the guys that are fucking getting all the women, and they get more than one woman. It's... The average guys really don't get a whole lot, and there's a shit ton of incels. Jen didn't believe me, but I think on the under 30 crowd, American men, 70-something% incels. Virgins.
I don't believe that.
I think this might be true.
I don't believe that.
Under 30 crowd might be like that because they're just very much into video games and fat, fucking bad physical condition. Women don't want them. So it wouldn't surprise me not one bit.
That seems a tad high. Like maybe 50% wouldn't, but that seems.
I think it was 70.
But like I said, I don't know where you got that information, and that's not the topic of the show anyway. And it's like we're still kind of like we're an hour and a half in, we barely talked about the shit.
Go ahead.
So it's like we're just going off on more tangents again, and I'm getting annoyed. All right, so let's finally talk about this fucking dude. Like I said, there's not a huge amount about him. He's not a serial killer. He's just a necrophile. So this dude's name is Kenneth Douglas. It's funny because in my notes I put, and then there's this asshole. Now, because that's how I do. Now, he was actually arrested at first in 2008, but that was for a drug charge. He wasn't actually arrested for the necrophile shit until 2012, and they didn't really figure out like the long term of like how long he'd been doing this shit until then. You know what I mean? And it's kind of interesting how he got caught. So we'll kind of get into this. Now, just as a little teaser, this dude later admitted, now he only got convicted of having sex with 3 dead women. However, he did later confess that it had been over 100. but he has not been convicted of that. Now, I will tell you that he is, as far as I know, not in prison anymore, because he didn't spend much time in prison because, which we'll get into, it's like I said, he's not a serial killer, and necrophilia is kind of like not, it depends on the state. I kind of wrote down some kind of stats about what states did what, but it's technically, it's illegal, but it's not, it doesn't really come with like a big sentence, you know what I mean? So it's like, because he was only convicted of that, like messing with a dead body, he didn't really get that long. So he's out of prison, but as far as I don't know what he's up to nowadays. I couldn't really find anything about, but I don't know if he's changed his name or if he's just like keeping on the DL or whatever, which I would if I was him. But, you know, especially after the media shitstorm that followed. But yeah. Now, as I was saying, there is no, as far as I'm aware, there is no federal law that specifically bars sex with a corpse in the United States. So each state kind of has its own laws about this. Now, in our state, where we are, which is Florida, it's actually a second-degree felony. But in a large number of states, for example, Kansas, West Virginia, Idaho, North Dakota, New Hampshire, New York, Michigan, Alaska, it's only a misdemeanor, okay? But in Florida, it's a second-degree felony. And in some other states, it's either second-degree felony, first-degree felony. So it varies from state to state, like what the laws are about having sex with a corpse. You know what I mean? But there's no federal law saying that you can't do that. It just depends on the state. Now, okay, so how Kenneth got caught, this was kind of like an interesting case to me, because he did the shit for a long time before anybody kind of caught on. I mean, spoiler alert, his wife knew, but nobody listened to her. You know what I mean? I don't know if she knew exactly, but she kind of knew something was up. So what ended up happening? Now, in August of 1982, this might seem unrelated, but hang with me for a second. In 1982, there was a guy named David Steffen, and he pretended to be a door-to-door soap salesman, because I guess that was a thing that you could be in 1982.
Door-to-door soap salesman.
And he shows up at this house where this 19-year-old girl named Karen Range lived. And he busted into her house, beat her up, shoved a rag in her mouth, and cut her throat with a knife so severely that she was pretty much beheaded. She was almost beheaded. So, you know, obviously murdered. Now, when they caught this motherfucker, he confessed to the police that he had indeed beaten and stabbed and killed Karen Range. He also said in his confession that he had been going to rape her, but he couldn't get a hard-on. Now, the cops said, well, that's kind of weird because we found semen in her body.
So he lied.
Well, just wait a minute. Just wait. So, yeah. But this was 1982. They didn't have DNA or anything like that. So the cops thought he was lying. So in 1983, he goes to trial. And a jury decided, as you probably would, that David Steffen had lied about raping Range. It's like, well, obviously, there's semen inside. It's like, how the fuck else did that get there? Unless you raped her. But he was adamant that he was, like, he admitted that he had killed her and almost beheaded her. I didn't rape her, though. Like, I was going to. Yeah. But I couldn't get it up. Yeah. And it's like, so he was adamant that he had not done that. And everybody's like, okay, whatever, man, whatever. Now, interestingly, so they said because he had raped and murdered her, he should get the death penalty. This was in Ohio, by the way. I think. Yeah, I think this was Ohio. Now, from my understanding, in Ohio at this time, I think the law was you were eligible for the death penalty if the murder also had another circumstance, like a rape or a robbery, like in the course of something else. You know what I mean? Like there had to be something else going with the murder. Like that's what was my understanding from like reading about it.
Murder in the commission of another crime.
Yeah, so they were just kind of like, well, since you raped her and murdered her, then you should get the death penalty. Now, in 1983, then, the Ohio court did find him guilty of first-degree murder and rape, and did sentence him to the death penalty. Now, for the next 25 years, David Stephan fought like hell to get off of death row, saying, I did not rape her. I did kill her. I confess to that, but I did not rape her. And he was just, like I said, adamant about that. Now, interestingly, nobody believed him for all that time. However, DNA would eventually prove that he
wasn't him.
Had not raped her. He did kill her, but he didn't rape her.
Somebody else had sex with her. Yeah.
So he just kept fighting, like, to get off death row. In 2008, what ended up happening was that David Stephan's attorney asked the judge in the case to do a DNA test on the semen. And because obviously in 1982, that was not an option.
Yeah.
So they did it, and then they found out that the DNA, the semen, indeed did not match him. And they found out that the DNA actually matched this motherfucker here, who his DNA was on file because of a former drug arrest in 2008, I think it was. Like, he got arrested for drugs. And so they had his DNA on file.
What dude?
This, Kenneth Douglas, the dude that we're talking about. Now, this dude, so this was his DNA in this girl's body.
So he had sex with her after she was dead.
Yes. Now, this dude...
And the other guy got blamed for
was married.
Yeah.
And had 4 kids.
Damn.
And he had worked at the Hamilton County Morgue in Ohio for 16 years.
So he saw her hot ass coming in. He goes, well, I'm going to get some of this. And then the other dude gets pegged for it.
I mean, like I said, David Stephan, he did kill her.
Yeah, he deserved to be locked up.
He did kill her.
Yeah.
But he didn't rape her. But this motherfucker did. But after she was dead.
That's wild.
And I kind of feel like if this case had not happened, he might have just got away with it. Like, all this time. Like, that's the only reason he got caught.
He didn't know she was a murder victim?
Honestly, okay, so I'm not really sure. I don't know. We'll get into this in a little bit because I kind of want to talk a little bit about... You would think he'd have been
smart enough. Maybe he couldn't resist it. He'd be like, this is a murder victim.
Well,
they might
let me
all right.
Before you get into theories and stuff,
okay,
let me give you some more details. Now, what he admitted, like, after they arrested Kenneth Douglas, he said, about 4 hours after they brought Karen Range's body into the morgue, he decided he was gonna get drunk. He's working, smoke some crack, as you do.
Yeah, smoke crack, yeah.
And took her out the freezer.
Yeah.
And had sex with her. Her dead body.
So she was frozen.
Raped her dead body.
She was frozen?
I don't know if she was completely frozen. It was 4 hours after she was brought in.
Damn.
I don't know how long it takes to freeze a dead body. And it came to light after they arrested him for this that he was in the habit of sometimes drinking to excess on the job and smoking crack on the job.
Yeah.
And when that happened, he would get a little randy. And I guess the body started looking pretty good.
He'd pull him out. Man.
And he'd start pulling him out the freezers.
Damn.
And doing that. Now, this is a quote. He says, if I hadn't had anything to drink when I went into work, it wouldn't happen. Yeah. I would do crack and go in and drink and go in.
Yeah, I was just drunk.
He says that was the only time. Like, it was a party, I suppose.
I don't buy that for not one fucking bit. Till you seen fucking dead bodies up close, they're just being drunk. That would be, you know what? This chick's pretty hot. I'm just go ahead and do this. Fucking let's. No, fuck no.
I mean,
motherfucker was a necrophile. Oh man.
Okay. So the thing about it, so they arrested his ass, right, for gross abuse of a corpse. Because, like I said, at the time, it wasn't actually illegal to have sex with a corpse. Well, but gross abuse was it's kind of like a misdemeanor-ish. It's not that big of a deal, at least according from legal standpoint. I think the laws have been, because I was looking at, if you go on the Wikipedia page for necrophilia, it's actually like pretty fun. They have each country and each state and what the laws are exactly, like in each state, like what it counts as, like in every state. So like I said, in Florida it's a second degree felony. But in a lot of states, it's still a misdemeanor. So it's like if you get caught doing that, it's like you might do some prison time or you might just pay a fine or something like that. But it's not really seen as that big of a deal, I guess, which is kind of fucked up, I guess.
No, High Desert did not forget who we were talking about. Remember, I went in to go get another drink. When I came back, I had missed some shit. I thought she was now talking about a different person, so I just got confused. Yeah.
No. That's all it is.
That's all it was.
Now, so when they brought him in on this particular case, after they found his DNA inside this poor woman, he eventually confessed to having sex with more than 100 dead bodies during his 16 years that he had worked there.
Yeah.
Now, he had been working at the morgue for 1976.
I did it a couple times a month.
He probably did. Yeah. Well, he had been working there for all this time. And look, it's like, I'm not casting aspersions on people that work in morgues or funeral homes or anything like that. I'm just saying, because Phantom was saying, oh, everybody that works in a morgue is like probably fucking the dead bodies. I don't think that's the case. So. I mean, necrophilia is such a small, percentage of people. Most people are fine. They don't do anything weird like that. And it's nasty. And most people would probably think it was nasty.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like, people that are PDF files, and a small percentage of them will, on purpose, like go into fields where there's like childcare or being priests or whatever. Yeah. So I kind of feel like the same thing happens with necrophiles. They're just kind of like, there's a small percentage of people that go into that line of work specifically so they can have access to dead bodies. Yeah. And I kind of feel like maybe that was what this dude. Yeah. I don't know if he was doing it all the way back in the 70s. But 100 bodies, at least that he's confessing to, and it might be more than that. I kind of feel like he maybe was into it, and that was why he went into that line of work, because he'd been working there for a long time. And the fact that he'd been working there a long time, and like nobody had fucking said it, this is crazy to me. So yeah, he worked there from 1976. They hired him. Now he worked on the night shift, so obviously there weren't a lot of people around, and another thing that helps, because there weren't a lot of people around, he was an alcoholic, and I believe his dad, at least, was also an alcoholic, so he came from an alcoholic family. So he habitually would drink on the job. And I kind of feel like maybe he wouldn't drink on the job every single shift, but I kind of feel like he would come in and like get like blind drunk, because no one was around to stop him, really. And according to him, at least, like, he would come in and he would drink a bunch, and then he would be like, hey, like, free
free cooch, man, let's go.
Yeah, like, maybe. So I kind of feel like that. So he worked there for a while, and then the 80s came along, and then crack got to be big, and he's just like, ooh, I'm just going to add that to the repertoire. You know what I mean?
Let's think about this for a second.
Okay.
So this dude is working in a morgue, and probably a couple times a month, he's deciding to throw down with these corpses.
Yeah.
Most of these corpses that are in there are going to be old people. Okay, people that died of natural causes. Now, the young girls in there, they're most going to be dead of accidents.
Or murders, as we'll see.
Yeah, accidents or murders.
And, when I
maybe occasionally disease.
Yeah.
So that means he's having sex with bodies that are mutilated or damaged in a certain way. That's just fucking weird, man. Like, chick in her 20s killed in a car wreck. They can be pretty fucked up if you see what happens in a car wreck. That's probably a real common one. Suicides and stuff. Chick with a bullet hole in the side of her head. It's just fucking gross, man. Fucking gross.
It is gross.
Yeah.
It is gross.
So what does he do? Does he cover it up, pretend like it's not there? That's okay. We just put it.
Or maybe he likes it.
I don't even think they give a shit. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, it's fucking weird. Like a vampire, like a ghoul.
Like I said, I can imagine some pretty fucked up shit. Okay, but it's just kind of like I can't imagine being in a situation where this is something that would occur to me to do.
And does he just leave her on a slab in that little fucking cooler? Or does he
I
take
guess.
her to a more romantic location? What
You put out rose petals
does he
or what?
does he bring an outfit for her to wear? Fucking,
God.
what kind of shit is this, man?
I feel like no, because one of his most famous quotes, because there was like a deposition, like, you know, parts of it are online. I've seen like little bits of it. He basically said, I would just get on top of them and pull my pants down.
Yeah.
So no romanticism involved.
Quite
like
a Romeo.
Yeah, no rose petals, no nothing like that. He just pull her out the fucking drawer, I guess, and just jump on there.
Oh, man. Nasty
Jesus.
motherfucker.
Yeah. How did he find somebody to marry him? Like, there's somebody out there for everybody, you guys. I feel bad for his wife, though, because seriously, we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had 4 kids, too. I can't imagine. Can you imagine?
Imagine your dad.
Finding that out about your dad?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That would be like even. I don't even know if
They
that'd
probably
be worse.
rationalize it because they know him. Oh yeah, you know, he's just fucking around, you know, that kind of shit. He's just playing around.
I wouldn't rationalize it like that. I'd be like, you get the fuck away from me, you freak. But yeah, so he starts taking. So he's already a drunk, and he starts taking crack on top of that. I don't even know how he could like fucking function, like with alcohol and crack. But you know,
What's up, Senor Sticks? What's up? Bub?
hey, what's up? So yeah, so he would come in there and get super drunk and do some crack and be like, yeah, I'm just going to start pulling the bodies out of the fucking shit. Now, so he worked at this morgue until 1992. And apparently, nobody really did anything about anything. Now, the thing about it, though, was that his wife thought he was up to some shit because she would pick him up from work. And she said he smelled like alcohol and like sex. So, I mean, I don't think she thought that he was having sex with the dead bodies at first.
Yeah.
But she was
I
like...
thought she was fooling around with one of the nurses or something.
Yeah, I think she thought, 1, he's cheating on me, and 2, he's drinking on the job.
Yeah.
Like, to excess.
Yeah.
So she actually reported him.
Yeah.
Like, to the county, because he worked for the county morgue. And from what she said... The county morgue were like, meh, and they didn't really do anything. She kept calling and, like, reporting. She's like, look, is he drinking on the job? Like, what's going on? And they basically told her, like, stop bothering us.
Yeah.
Like, it's our business. It's none of your business. I'm like, kind of is her business. That's her husband, but you know what I mean? Whatever. Oh, thank you very much. Senor Sticks gave us a super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. First super chat of the evening. Thank you very much.
Said there is a percentage of males and females into necrolove. They need their own app for dating. I guess on the dark web, because that is out there. Oh, I'm sure there's one. One. Like I said, there's very
all lifestyle shit out there.
I mean, it is probably very skewed because from everything that I could find, it's 92% necrophiles are men.
Yeah.
So it's a very small percentage, which is much like serial killers. It's kind of about the same ratio there. But yeah, so it's probably going to be mostly dudes. You know, and like a couple of lonely, weird women, like trying to find.
Men have aggressive impulses, and if those motherfuckers are sick, man, they'll fucking do some weird shit. But don't blame all men.
Well, no one is doing
I do weird
that.
shit, but Jen loves it.
Yeah, but you don't do anything.
We just have fun.
You don't do anything like harmful or fucked up or anything like that.
We just play with toys and shit and talk shit to each other.
Well, yeah. Which, like I said,
everybody does that.
I think most people do that.
Yeah.
We don't do anything like super freaky or anything like that. I don't think.
No, it's all within mainstream shit. Really.
Yeah, and it's just like role play kind of shit. Which, like I said, a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
And that's so we don't do like pretend you're dead or nothing like that.
No,
we never did anything like that. That'd be super weird. I'm not really into that kind of shit. That would be strange.
Yeah.
But you know, I can see why some people are into it, but it's not really my thing. But yeah, so his wife was even on. So like I said, I don't think she suspected, because why would you? I don't think she suspected at first that he was having sex with the bodies. I think she thought that she was fucking around that he was fucking around with somebody that worked there or was leaving work and fucking somebody at a motel or something like that. But she for sure knew that he was drinking on the job, and that concerned her, so she kept reporting him.
That's weird that she said he smelled like sex, which means the smell of a dead woman is about the same as a living woman. Ugh, that's nasty.
Or she was just smelling jizz.
Yeah, maybe.
No. Although I would kind of think if you like, if your husband worked at a morgue, and came home and his dick smelled like formaldehyde,
yeah,
I'd be reporting.
Well,
your
they're not
ass
embalmed
too.
yet, though. They're not embalmed.
That's true.
They're fresh off the street in the cooler.
That's true.
So they're not embalmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe she was just smelling.
Yeah, and fucking, like I said, those chicks are busted open, man. They've been in car wrecks and all kinds of stuff. The good ones would be young, and the young ones were killed by something. It's not natural causes.
The 19-year-old woman that he was, that he got caught over,
Yeah.
was murdered.
Yeah.
And she was almost beheaded.
Almost beheaded. So what kind of dude could do that?
She was almost beheaded.
How could you look at that and go, oh, yeah, I'm going to hit this. Here, hold the head
Well,
still.
like you said, it was just like the Green River Killer. It's like it was free.
It's free, yeah.
And I guess
maybe he put a rag over the fucking cut throat so he couldn't see that.
I know. Now I'm kind of wondering.
Fucking weird, man. Or he didn't care.
Or he didn't care.
Yeah.
Like I said, maybe he was
I can't understand it. I can't understand it, ladies. I'm a man and I can't understand that shit.
I don't understand it.
Dudes don't do that shit.
I mean, most dudes don't do that shit.
No, most dudes would never do that shit.
Like, dudes think some fucked up shit, but most of them, this is like a tiny percentage.
Yeah.
That would do this kind of crap. I mean, this is pretty rare, I feel.
You'd have to be pretty fucking desperate. And the motherfucker was married. It's some kind of kink he had.
Like I said, he was married, he had kids and everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, fucking weird. And I think he was doing it for much longer than maybe he admitted.
Yeah.
So his wife actually did report him because she was concerned. And she kept calling, and I guess like the supervisor basically says, and this is a quote also, whatever happens on county time and on county property is county business. And basically told her to stop calling them because she was bothering them. So, that kind of came back to bite them in the ass later on, but we'll get to that in a second. So, finally, they arrest this dude, and in 2012, he actually pleaded guilty, not only to desecrating the corpse of that poor woman, the murdered woman, but to 2 other women. Now, these would be 24-year-old April Hicks, who fell out of a 3rd-story window. I don't know if she was pushed or if she just fell. So I'm sure that was in 1991 that happened. And the other woman that he was accused of raping her dead body was 23-year-old Charlene Appling. She was actually 6 months pregnant, and she was strangled to death. So she was also murdered in 1991. So I don't know if he had a particular proclivity for women that had been murdered or died in horrible ways like that, or if it was just a case, like you said, of most of the bodies coming in being old people.
Yeah.
Because you don't really see, like, if you work in a morgue, like, you don't really see a lot of young people in the morgue unless it's, like, an accident or a murder or something like that. It's mostly, like, old people.
If it's a young person and they died not of natural
causes. Then they obviously didn't die of natural causes most of the time. So I kind of feel like maybe that's what it is. I don't think that he maybe necessarily had a proclivity for, it's hot that, like, this woman was murdered or fell out of a window or whatever. I think it's just mostly because, this is a young one. Where mostly they were old. But I don't really know. And the thing about it is, like, I couldn't really find any other details about all the other supposedly 100 women that he had also, their bodies that he'd also had sex with. I don't really know what the details of all those are. So, I mean, that's a long period of time. He worked there for 16 years. So I would assume that over that time period, you would have, like, women's bodies come in that, like you said, had died of accidents or maybe diseases, like when they were younger or were murdered or something like that. And maybe he just, like, stuck with those because they weren't old, I guess. Because, like, even necrophiles have standards, I guess. And it's just kind of like, don't like the old ladies.
Look,
we have
man,
to...
for somebody that, I will fucking attest to this personally. I fucking hauled a fucking gorgeous dead Israeli girl out of a fucking bus. And me and my buddy were on that team, fucking tagged and bagged her. Everybody was fucking watching. We were out there at night with flashlights out in the Sinai desert. She was good looking. You could tell. Like I said, you didn't want to look at the head because it was just a bottom jaw with a tongue. The top of the head was gone. Or the face was dead, but her body was... you could tell that she was gorgeous. Was she gorgeous at that moment? No. There's no blood pressure, so nothing's fucking taut, nothing's fucking shapely. It is not... it is definitely the body of a dead person. So even a gorgeous woman dead, they're not attractive. They look like a mannequin and a bad mannequin. You know what I mean? Okay, like the little sex dolls that I just showed you guys videos of earlier. Those look so much better because they look more alive. But there's just so I don't know fucking how these dudes do this. They got to be into that look. They got to be into that mentally to get aroused by that. It's just not within a man's nature to have sex with dead bodies.
Yeah, like I said,
they're not attractive.
This is a tiny percentage.
They're not attractive.
I mean, it's probably a larger percentage than we want to think because I'm sure a lot of it is unreported. Yeah. But still, even given that, I kind of feel like this is still a pretty small like paraphilia.
And fucking everybody had the same reaction who saw her in the platoon. We had been out there for probably at this point 4 months, you know. Fucking, we were going to Israel and shit. We were dealing with women, but mostly we're not getting lucky. Okay, we're in the Middle East. Dudes were like, "Oh my God!" You know, it was like, what a waste of a fucking good woman. You know what I mean? Just it was fucking tragedy. You know. It was funny because we hauled all kinds of dudes and older women, and we didn't have that reaction. It was just that one. There's just so I know
only hot women are valuable. That's why.
What it is, it's female. Okay, and it's at the prime of life. Okay, she has not yet completed her mission. You know, for all you know, she doesn't have kids. She hasn't been married. She didn't experience that. You know, if it was children, and there were no children in there, thank God, didn't see any children. They were all adults.
Yeah, that would have been really upsetting.
I think the children lived because by the time we got there, all the survivors had been evacuated. We weren't the first ones at the scene. The truck that hit them evacuated the wounded. They all got on the back of the truck with the bulldozer. Ain't that some shit? And they took him to the Egyptian police station.
Can you imagine? I mean, I'm sure they were probably too fucking traumatized to think about it too hard. But I think when they thought about it later, they were probably like, man, that was fucked up.
Yeah. So, like I've said, I've seen a fucking hottie dead, and they're not attractive. So I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Rebecca Dunn points out Douglas Clark was getting Carol Bundy, which we talked about them on one of our Valentine's Day Killer Couple shows, those two, to put makeup on Exie Wilson's decapitated head so he could fuck her head in the shower. Yeah, and like I said, as I never tire of reminding people, Ted Bundy was also a big advocate of
fucking heads.
Fucking decapitated heads.
You leave him up on the fuck, he'd carry him around in bags.
Yeah, how sexy is that motherfucker now?
Yeah, he ain't sexy.
Not at all.
Well, he was the hot serial killer. That motherfucker was nasty.
Yeah, he was also a necrophile.
He'd leave a head up on top of the damn mantle and fucking slap it and fucking talk shit to it for a while, fucking, and then have sex with it. And then I think he kept it in the refrigerator for several days. So, no, that motherfucker was nasty. And I think he did visit some bodies that he had stashed.
That's fucking disgusting.
I think he did visit some. He did like the Green River Killer. I think some of those bodies he did go back and visit them again. That he had stashed out in the woods.
He probably will. And I kind of feel like he's the type of dude that wouldn't admit that.
No, but I think he said he did.
Because he's like, oh, that'd be kind of gross. But see, that's why I like to remind people that it's like Ted Bundy was also a necrophile.
Yeah, and he was a pedo too.
Yes, he wouldn't admit that either. But he totally was.
Yeah, that one girl was 13.
Yep. That was the one that he wouldn't admit.
No. Slaughtered her like a pig inside of a pig slaughterhouse, so an abandoned pig slaughterhouse.
He admitted all the other ones, but he wouldn't admit that one. He totally did that, though.
Cut her throat while she was in like doggy position and shit. Had her all tied up like a pig.
Yeah.
Motherfucker was nasty.
Yeah, he was a nasty motherfucker.
Evil.
So, like I said, I'm kind of got interested in, because the vast majority of, like, necrophiles that, like, the best known necrophiles are also serial killers.
Yeah.
So I was kind of interested in ones that weren't serial killers. Like this guy. This guy didn't kill anybody that we know of. He just really liked to fuck dead bodies, I guess. I don't really know. Or he was just an opportunist. I'm not really sure. Because Senor Sticks makes the point. It's like, so he was married, but did he prefer sex with the dead is the question, and if so, why? Now that's kind of a good question, because there are a subset of necrophiles that do prefer sex with living people, but if a dead one is there, then that's okay too. Like, because it's there, it's free, like you said. Now there are some necrophiles that can only get aroused by dead people and not by living people. Those are kind of like your more hardcore ones. But I don't like
Dahmer.
I mean, I'm assuming because he had a wife for however long and they had 4 kids, I'm assuming he could get it up for a living person. But I I kind of feel like this dude was maybe more like, hey,
an opportunist.
Yeah, he kind of got fucked up,
Yeah.
and he's just like, hey, they're there. Why not?
Yeah. Kind of a predator of opportunity.
I kind of feel like that was maybe more his thing.
Yeah.
So maybe he could get aroused by either thing.
Yeah.
He was bisexual.
He bisexual. He was...
Dead, living, whatever. It's just, yeah. So we need a different word for that. Like, you
he
know
must
what I
have
mean?
been zipping that body bag open like that and look at them boobs and go, yeah, pretty nice now. And then it must have kind of like slowly kind of clicked over in his head, like, you know what? I could probably do this. You know, it must have been some shit like that where he started slowly.
Yeah, now I'm kind of curious about how this whole thing came about. Like back in the mid 1970s when he first got this job, did he take this job specifically because he was into that kind of shit and he's just like, ooh, maybe I can have some opportunities? Or did it not occur to him? It was just like a job that he got and he's just like, yeah, whatever. And then it developed later?
Most likely it was just what job he got.
Because, like, after he worked there a while...
With some dude, he goes, man, you got to see the knockers on this one. Zip her over like,
I kind of feel like that might have been...
And that might have started it.
And it's like, look, we can do it, and she can't do anything.
Wow.
Because she's dead.
Look at the size of that. Yeah, it might have been some shit like that. We got friends in the medical community down here, Orlando General. Okay, fucking. If you know anything about fucking medical people, they're fucking wild, man. They're not conservative because they're around death and nasty shit.
I mean, they have to be because, like I said, so you have like all these defense mechanisms.
So I can see how maybe like dudes in the morgue can go, look at the knockers on this chick. God damn, those things. Hold on, grab one. Oh shit, fucking that chick's huge, and that might fucking start a ball rolling with some dudes.
It might, yeah. Like a certain type of dude would be like, yeah, that is kind of hot.
Yeah.
And then, like, slowly after a while, maybe he's just going in there sneaking, just like feeling her up.
Might start where he's feeling her up and he's jerking off to it.
Yeah. And then like, later he's like...
then eventually he's in her.
Well, nobody's looking.
Yeah. Why am I jerking off? They put it right there.
I could just do it. Nobody's going to do anything. She can't do anything.
Yeah. Might have been something like that. Oh. That's the only way I could fucking imagine the process happening.
I imagine, like, with morgue workers like this, I kind of feel like maybe it does happen like that.
Yeah.
Like you said, it might just kind of happen as, like, kind of a joke at first.
Yeah, I think,
Where
dude, you gotta see the knockers on this chick, man. Come here, look.
Like, God, oh, man, that was a hot one.
What a
She's
waste.
Dead now.
Man, fucking grab it. You know, look at that shit. You know, doing like some shit and go, yeah, what, you know, that, what. And then the other dude's like, he's clicking and going, those are some pretty nice titties.
I'm going to come back.
I'm going to come back for those. Yeah, it might have been some shit like that.
Oh, my God.
I'm trying to put myself in their shoes.
Like I said, I'm a woman, so, like, that kind of mindset. Like, I get what you're saying, but it's like that would never occur to me in the first place. So it's just kind of...
Well, the female equivalent would be a couple of chicks working in the morgue, and it goes, you got to see the fucking pecker on this dude. This motherfucker's huge, just like a thermos. And you can look at it and go, God damn it, shit. Grab it. You know, it could start just that fucking innocent, but they're not trying to have sex with the dude. They're just fucking, look at the size of the fucking schlong on that guy. But the thing is that fucking if you're dead, there's no fucking blood pressure, so it's gonna be small no matter because you're dead. No matter how big your dick is, your dick's gonna be small when you're dead.
It shrivels up after you die.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be the plot. But imagine if fucking there's a possibility where fucking that shit's fucking 4 inches in diameter, like the size of a fucking thermos and shit. And they'd be like, look at the size of this dude. You know, this is like a top-notch porn star level dick right here, you know what I mean? Fucking and they're medical, so they'd be like, yeah, that's it.
Like I said, we do know several people in the medical industry.
Yeah.
And understandably, they do get kind of a very dark sense of humor.
Yeah.
And a desensitization process that happens just, by necessity. Because you're around that all the time, so you really kind of have to, if you're just overly sensitive or something like that, you're not going to be able to do it. So it's just kind of like they have to have this kind of like hard shell around them.
Yeah,
so
and they're around death all the time.
So you can see how that happens. Yeah. But by the same token, I kind of feel like most people, even in that context, would not go as far as
have sex with it. No,
I'm gonna go jump on that corpse.
Yeah.
I feel like most people wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's just weird shit.
Even though I feel like some people might think about it. But I kind of feel like most people would not.
Most medical people that we know are more likely to jump on each other than they are the fucking dead. But fucking medical staff fuck around with each other. They're long hours. There's fucking beds everywhere. They're around death. They're alive, and they're kind of like fucking living on the edge.
They've seen like the worst.
They see other people that could die, and they're like, man, we're alive. Let's fuck. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of shit that could happen.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but I've heard that fucking, you know, from what I know it from people in the medical industry, just that they get fucking wild in there.
I have heard that also.
Yeah.
Like I said, we know several people that are doctors, nurses, that kind of stuff, and don't know anybody that ever admitted to having sex with dead people.
But at night, there's plenty of privacy in some of those hospital wings because they'll have empty rooms and shit like that.
Yeah.
Fucking empty beds.
Yeah. So this motherfucker, like I said, in 2012, you know, initially he was convicted of like the first, you know, one that the murderer was supposedly had raped. But he also admitted to 2 other ones and then later said it was 100 more. But he was technically just convicted of the 3, like desecrating a corpse. Like I said, obviously he didn't kill anybody. So the law was that there wasn't really much you could do. So they basically, I believe, I saw a couple different sources on this. One said they gave him 18 months and one that they gave him 2 years. So at most, he served 2 years for what he did. Now, a couple years later, in 2014, now the families of his victims actually sued the county because obviously this dude had been at this job and he had been reported multiple times and no one did fuck all about it, so they sued. And the statement that the county supervisor had made about it's like, oh, that's our business, quit calling, blah, blah, blah. You know, that was used a lot, like, against them. You know what I mean? As, you know, as it should have been, obviously, because that's a kind of fucked up attitude to have. They also brought, like, his deposition, Douglas's deposition, like, back into play because he admitted all this stuff. And he'd been doing it for years and years. Like, drinking, doing crack on the job, which is bad enough as it is. But then also, like, fucking the corpses, too. And, like, no one did anything about it.
CB corrected me. He said that the girl that Bundy slaughtered wasn't 13, she was 12.
Yeah, like I said, I knew she was little.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I read about that case, but I knew she's around that age, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why that bitch got romanticized by the media.
I don't know either.
Fuck, it was nasty.
Well, it just goes to show that if you look decent or you look like a normal person, then it's like people are willing to give you a lot more leeway. So you can do all kind of like fucked up shit, and people are still like, well, he's kind of hot.
Even though he was not a normal person,
if that motherfucker was ugly, everyone would still be talking about. Nobody would be making like movies about him, like with fucking Zac Efron or whoever the fuck played him, or you know, and it's like nobody would be doing that or talking about who's the hottest serial killer. Like everybody just think he was gross,
and he was not
because he was gross.
He was not some fucking fucking mental powerhouse either. Okay, he was.
No, he was a dumbass.
He was a dumbass, and he was incompetent. He was fucking couldn't get through school. He had no fucking. He was a fake.
He was a fake smart person.
He was a fake smart person. That's part of the reason why I think why he killed people. Because he knew he really wasn't the real deal.
Yeah, well, like I said,
imposter.
As we were saying, I think we said this a couple shows ago. I don't remember what the context was. But I think that the root of a lot of shit like this is self-loathing.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like he knew deep down that he wasn't smart.
Yeah.
That he wasn't competent.
He was just pretending.
And he was lashing out. Yeah. Because he was not a smart person by any means. I don't know why people thought he was smart. I guess dumber people thought he was smart.
A better looking person tends to look smarter in the
That's another thing too. And I do think that because I mean, I don't particularly find him good looking, but I can see how other people would. So it's just kind of like if you look good, then people are willing to give you the benefit of the doubt that they wouldn't give to like a more plain or like, you know, quote unquote ugly person. So I kind of feel like he got the benefit of the doubt in that regard, but he is a disgusting person. He wasn't intelligent. He wasn't a mastermind. He wasn't anything like that. He was just a disgusting necrophilic serial killer. And it's just kind of like, I don't really get the romanticizing of him just because he was slightly better looking than some of the other ones. You know what I mean? Yeah, he didn't look like a fucking troll, but he was still like a fucking horrible person. That's why I don't know. I try not to have that bias. I know that it's very natural for humans to have that bias. If somebody looks good, that means they must be good. because, of various, like, the way we've evolved, I guess, genetically, we've just evolved to be like, oh, well, if they look good, that means their genetics are good, so, so I kind of feel like it's hard to get over that programming, but you really have to not, because people that are good looking, I mean, they can be just as terrible as anyone else. And sometimes more so, because they can get away with more shit. So I don't trust anybody. And especially, like, people that are good looking and come to I don't trust anybody like that. So, yeah. So the families of the victims, of the women that were murdered, that were raped by this motherfucker, they sued the county. And they were talking about, like, obviously, like, this dude was doing this for at least... he worked there for 16 years. I don't know how long he'd been doing it, but it's like he did it multiple times, and he was also drinking and doing crack on the job, and you guys didn't do anything about it, even though his wife reported it. So they sued. Now, they ended up settling, like the county settled in 2015. I believe the county agreed to pay them $800,000. And there was also like an almost $3 million or about $2.5 million default judgment against Kenneth Douglas. But obviously his broke ass wasn't going to like pay that. But, I guess it was something anyways. So that's pretty much it. Now, after that, you remember the guy that killed Karen Range?
Yeah.
Who said that he didn't rape her, and that's how the whole thing got caught? He actually got cleared of the rape, obviously, because he didn't do it. But he still killed her, though. But he did get taken off death row. So yay for him, I guess. But he got sentenced to life in prison without parole. So he's still in prison as far as we know. Now, Kenneth Douglas, though, the corpse raper, at this stage, he would be about 60 years old, I believe. 60, 61, I think he is. Now, he was let out of prison because, like I said, he got a pretty short sentence because technically what he did is not... It's illegal, but it's not...
That illegal. It's ridiculous.
So, like I said, I think the most he got was 2 years. I think he was only in for 18 months, 2 years, something like that. And then he got out. And as far as I know, I couldn't really find anything on him more recent than 2014, 2015. So I imagine that after he got out of prison, he just vanished and like went someplace, like maybe moved someplace else.
I bet you they fucked with him in prison.
I mean,
I bet you the other inmates are like, you were fucking them dead bitches, you fucking crazy.
I'm trying to put
they
myself.
Made fun of him. Yeah.
I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of his wife.
Oh yeah.
Because
imagine blowing him after all that.
That's what I mean.
Damn.
And, like, she might have suspected. Like I said, I don't think she suspected at first that he was a necrophile. Maybe not. But maybe she suspected he was cheating on her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which would be the first thing that you would jump to. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you're still, ostensibly, I guess, like, having sex with the dude. But it's in the back of your mind, like, all the time. But then, like, after you find out, and then you think back to all the times, it's like, man, I blew that dude. After he came home from work and he'd just been fucking a dead body.
Yeah.
Didn't he care, like, about that he was, like, maybe giving his wife, like, diseases or...
Gary Ridgway was doing the same thing. He was fucking rotting corpses and going back to his wife. The Green River Killer.
Does that not occur to them, or...
No.
They only care about themselves, or is that all it is?
Well, if you look at Ridgway, man, he was just a weaselly, weak man. You know what I mean? Fucking it. He was just and very self-conscious and around law enforcement. If you see videos of him being interrogated, he's fucking petrified. Just a little weasel. That little weasel was strangling hookers and then going back to him for fucking weeks while they were out in the summer sun, and then washing off and going back to his wife.
Like I said, I can't imagine finding out about that later.
Yeah.
Well, one, I can't believe that a poor woman had low enough self-esteem to marry Gary Ridgway.
Yeah.
But then,
I never saw a picture of her. I don't think she ever wanted to be.
I
shown.
don't blame her, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like
a catch, really.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that, but I'd just be like, I wouldn't want my fucking face shown after that.
No, I'm just saying, looking at him, he couldn't have pulled.
Probably not.
Hottie. She was. He thought those hookers were hotter than she was. And if you look at those hookers, they were fucking scumbags, most of them.
I just kind of wonder. I wonder.
Yeah.
I always kind of try to put myself in the shoes, like especially like all these serial killers and necrophiles and stuff. Like when they're married or the girlfriends or something like that, and just had like a quote unquote normal life. It's like how did they feel when they found out?
I don't know.
I can't fucking imagine. Now, Senor Sticks brings up an interesting point. This should open up a can of worms.
Rebecca, yeah, we got married over a year ago.
Yeah, I haven't been around for it. Did you guys get married? Yeah, we got married in September of 2023.
Yeah, and what's up, SideQuest? SideQuest Heroes In. That's my army girl.
Yeah, that's right, Rebecca. You haven't been here in a while.
Yeah,
but yeah, we did.
We got married.
Finally. We just went to the courthouse and we're why not?
Shit. We were married anyway. We were together, fucking 13, 14 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been together since 2011.
Yeah.
Like mid-2011.
Yeah.
We knew each other before that, but that was kind of when we officially...
Riding that bike around and had problems with a tire, and I was just thinking, like, fuck, man, if anything ever happens to me, fucking Jen's stuck out. I said, I gotta fucking make sure she's taken care of. And I was like, I'm gonna marry her.
It's just funny because we had kind of talked about it before, but it's just kind of like, whatever. Like, Tom's like, I've been married before. I don't know if I really want to do that. I've been married before. I wasn't averse, but I didn't really think about it too much. But
we ain't going anywhere. Might as well get married.
But that's what I mean. Yeah, we've been together so long. Like, you kind of surprised me with it. We were, like, sitting at fucking Books A Million.
Yeah.
Like, just drinking coffee or whatever. And you just kind of sprung it on me. You know, we should probably get married.
Well, I brought it up about a couple years before that, and you fucking blew it off. Like, yeah, right.
No, so, I didn't. Well, no, because I thought you were fucking with me.
No, I wasn't.
I thought you were fucking with me. Because I thought you said you didn't want to. So I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. So it's like, when you brought it up again, the first thing I thought of was, are you kidding? Like, I thought that you were kidding.
American military, no, Florida doesn't have common law marriage. You're either married or you're not.
Yeah, some states do. Like, I remember because my sister lived in Colorado. She lived in Denver. And her then boyfriend, like, she has a different boyfriend now. This was a while back. But they were common law married, like, after 7 years, I think it was. But Florida does not have that. You have to do legal. Like, because some states will have, like, if you live together for 7 years or 10 years or whatever it is, then they're just like, okay, fine, you're married. Like, you don't have to go through all the shit. But Florida doesn't have that.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any no-fault. There's no-fault divorce here.
Yeah, because
everything's split down the middle.
Well, it depends.
Then you got to work out child support and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, when I divorced my husband in 2009 or 2010, whatever it was, and we did that in Florida, we didn't have any kids, obviously, so that made things a lot easier. But we did a no-fault. We just basically said, they didn't specifically say, oh, you have to divide everything down the middle. They just said, well, how do you want to do it? Yeah. I said, well, he can stay in the house. I'm moving out. Right. You know, and it's like, we'll just work it out. And they're just like, okay, fine, just like sign here. It was like super easy.
Yeah, it's not California here. California will fuck the dudes over big time. Your wife can leave you in California, and she can take your house from you, the kids, and have her new boyfriend living up in that house, and you're fucking sleeping in the backseat of your car, fucking paying for that house. So, you know, that's why nobody in California gets married. You know, you gotta have it so it's fair, or dudes are gonna say, "Fuck that, I ain't getting married."
Senior 6 says the ball and chain is officially official now.
She's not a chain, man. Fucking, she's an asset. We're fucking great friends and fucking great business partners, and
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, she's not a ball and chain.
I feel like ball and chain. That's such a boomer.
Yeah, it's a boomer concept.
That's such a boomer concept.
I think a lot of people are like.
They all fucking hated their wives for some reason. They always talked about
young.
Them. They always talked about it. It's like, well, I just got married because I had to. Now I'm fucking stuck with her.
And she got knocked up. I had to marry her.
They all talked about him like that. Like they didn't like want to do it, which seemed kind of shitty. But Senor Sticks also said, because I said this should open a can of worms. It said, is it cheating if it's with a corpse?
Yeah.
I mean, I would.
Yeah.
It kind of still is.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, okay. Now, so this is an interesting conundrum.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't consider it cheating if it's with a sex doll, obviously.
No, that's not a person.
But I mean, and even though you could argue that a corpse isn't really a person anymore,
it was
once a person.
Yeah.
So I would argue that probably yes.
Yeah.
I would argue that probably yes. That is cheating.
Is there anything left on this case, or you wrapped it, or is it wrapped up?
No, I do have another one. Like I said, if it's too short,
let's see what time
then we could talk about that. But
it's 9:43.
We don't have to.
And I don't know about you, but I want to get a sandwich after this.
You want to get a sandwich?
I want to get a sandwich after this.
Okay.
Yeah. So how long will it take to do the second case?
Not long. It's just like a couple minutes.
Okay.
I just found this like really interesting.
Okay, let's do the second case.
As a whatever.
All right.
Yeah, Senor 6 said, Tom, how was the bachelor party?
What's that?
How was the bachelor party?
What bachelor party? I didn't have a bachelor party.
He didn't do a bachelor. We didn't do any of that. Like I said, we basically just went to the courthouse.
And did a little ceremony there.
In Florida, you have to apply for the license.
Yeah.
And then you either have to take a marriage class.
Yeah.
Or you have to wait 3 days. Was it 3 days?
Yeah.
To do the marriage ceremony. Yeah. Like, they won't do it on the same day.
What was so funny is we were in there, like, do you guys have the rings? And we were like, no.
Oh, we forgot.
Forgot the rings.
We didn't think about it.
And she laughed. They knew that we were together fucking forever anyway. You know what I mean? Fucking, so they were just like, but we got rings. But
we did after.
But we didn't have one. We weren't thinking about it.
We were just kind of like...
I didn't realize they were going to ask for that.
Yeah, we just filled out the paperwork, and then they said, okay, well, do you want to take the marriage class? And we're like, fuck that, no.
Yeah.
It's like, we've been together a long time. And they're like, okay, fair enough. Then you have to wait, like, I think it was 36 hours. Or you have to come back in 3 days, and then you can do the ceremony. And then we just came back and did that, and it's like just the lady...
Went to the Chinese restaurant?
We went to the... county, like Lake County office, and did it, and they took pictures of us in front of their little...
I think we went to Chinese buffet, didn't we?
And then we went to the Chinese buffet, I think.
And we saw movies too around that time. We were doing stuff.
Something like that.
It was just kind of like normal life, having fun.
Yeah, it was just like pretty funny.
Yeah, they took a picture of us. It was a pretty good picture too.
Yeah, there's a couple good pictures. She took a couple like...
Jim's like, my legs look so thin. I said, yeah.
I know. I was like, wow, look how skinny my legs
are.
I was like very excited about that.
Yeah.
SideQuest Hero said, it is cheating if it's anything that was once human.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, Rebecca said, totally cheating. Wanting a divorce because he cheated. Totally legit. Yeah.
If a doll is cheating, then that means a dildo's cheating. And no girl's going to fucking come at you that way.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Like I said, that would be saying like that a fucking pocket pussy was cheating. And obviously that's dumb.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So it's just kind of like...
Right.
But dead body... Well... The thing about it is, like, whether or not that's cheating or not, that's still fucking gross. So it's like, I don't even care if it's cheating. You're fucking a dead body. I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, yeah, technically, I would consider that cheating.
I remember back in the 90s, there was some stuff that was kind of surfacing about Japanese culture. And fucking... I don't know if they're still like this. It's probably something from the 90s. The Japanese dudes were always, like, stressing and worrying about women and dildos. That was kind of like cheating, and they were worried about the size of the dildo.
They were intimidated by the
size. Yeah.
Dude, I have some big ass dildos.
I guess because Jen's got some fucking big ass. She can't take them though.
No, I can't.
They're just booked for looks.
They're for videos and for looks.
Videos and looks, yeah.
I can't really do much of
it's just fucking too big.
Because they're too large.
It's just like the size of a horse. But so evidently that was like a Japanese thing for a while. The dudes were fucking stressing over, but it was a size thing, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
that seems like what that.
Yeah, they're like, look at what they're buying. You know what I mean? It's fucking 3 times the size of ours. Oh, I bet you she's got a big. You know, I don't know, man. Fucking.
Well, I understand. Well, because there's some women.
I lived in Korea for a while, so I kind of know what they're talking about.
I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's a certain subset of women, too, that would consider looking at porn cheating.
Yeah.
For the same reasons. Because, like, well, you're looking at hotter women or women with bigger boobs or whatever. Like, you like that better. So it's like, so it's the same kind of thing. So I get it. But honestly, I would never consider looking at porn to be cheating or doing shit with a dildo to be cheating. Because that's not a person.
Visual stuff for dudes is not emotional at all. It's just stimulus.
Now, like I said, we've talked about this before.
Guys aren't connected to it. They
don't
care.
That's what I mean. I've talked about
this
before.
More like voyeurism.
Yeah, just watching porn of just like random videos or something. That is not. I wouldn't consider that cheating. Yeah. Now, if you were like, you know, randomly like our distance, like having sex with someone that you knew.
Yeah, like
then
Skype.
Yeah, like for Skype or Zoom or something.
That's different.
Then I would consider that cheating.
That's cheating
because you know that person.
Yeah.
So it's like that's
a type of relationship.
Right. So I would. That's different.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like a random person that you're just watching online. Then no, you don't know that person. Yeah. It's just there's no relation.
What she's talking about is like a stream mate. We've done stream mate.
Right. Yeah.
And fucking no, those people in there are just they don't give a shit about you. They just want a good show. And me and Jen putting on a show and whatever. They don't care about you. So it's not a personal thing.
Yeah, they're just... I mean, they can interact with you, but it's just like interactive porn. It's like they don't know you. They don't...
Yeah. It's just... I'm a trained actor. You know, fucking from high school, fucking a great drama program. It's acting.
Yeah.
You're just putting on a show.
Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
You're just doing what they want, like what you think that they would get off on. That's all it is.
Right. They just want moving pictures of it and interaction.
Yeah. Which, like I said, that's, I don't really consider
So we just help the dude get off.
Yeah, that's all.
And they're cool dudes. Like, thanks, man. You guys have a good... Yeah, okay, see you. Then you're gone.
Yeah. But
they paid for their time and,
CB says, did this idiot use condoms? I doubt it.
No.
If not, his
Probably
wife
not.
should get tested for everything from HIV to hepatitis. Well, see, that's another thing.
Yeah, could that survive in there?
That's what I mean. See, that's another thing that these dudes don't consider, I guess, because they don't give a shit about anything other than their own dicks.
You probably could get an STD.
Was that you could get diseases.
From a fresh
Because these bodies are not, they're only a couple hours old.
Yeah, there's going to be all kinds of microbiology and shit going on inside there. You could.
You could absolutely, pass an STD to your partner.
Yeah. And not all those cells have totally expired. Which
of course
means
not.
That some of them are fucking carrying viruses.
Yeah.
You could probably catch it.
Yep.
Now, after a couple days...
that doesn't excuse it.
Yeah.
Still
after
don't
a couple
do that.
days, but that's even worse in a way. It's nastier.
But, he was having sex... the one that he got caught for, she had only been brought in 4 hours earlier, into the morgue. So, it's entirely possible that he could have given his wife a disease from that.
Listen to what Rebecca says. Rebecca says once a girl goes to glass dildos, she never goes back. I'm going to have to get her one.
I don't have any glass ones.
We don't have a glass one, yeah.
I've seen them. Some of them are actually really pretty. I don't have any glass ones, though.
Yeah.
I have a bunch.
We got stainless steel fucking butt plugs.
Yeah, I have a bunch of those.
On the back of them.
I have I really like, just for visual.
It's just visual shit.
I like really cool looking ones, crazy colors and crazy shapes and stuff. So it's just some of them aren't real practical to use.
I'm going to get her one.
Gotta admit.
On the back of that, Rebecca, I'm going to get her one.
I have always kind of wanted one.
Get you a glass one, yeah. They're more expensive, but they're
they
probably
are,
worth
yeah.
it.
But they're you don't want to break in.
Yeah.
But, that would be bad.
Well, it's stiff and it's smooth.
Yeah.
So
I can see
you
that.
could probably dig that shit around in here and fucking hit right spots with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the thing is, look, dudes, me and Jen fuck around in bed. I watch it too. I'll be like, yeah, that's right. You go, just it is. Fucking, we'll put on shows for each other. And we're just having fun.
Yeah, Tom loves that shit.
I love it. Yeah. I love that shit.
He's pulling him out of there, being like, "Suck
Yeah.
that dick,"
I'll be in the back, and the fucking she's up there in the front. Fucking, it's like she's being fucking with toys and shit. She's like she's being fucking spit roasted and some shit like that. With putting on a whole show, telling me, and I'm like, okay, yeah. Just it's like there's
Well,
it's
you don't.
It's 3D porn with your wife,
and that's the thing. You don't get jealous. Obviously, it's not a situation.
Some dudes probably would, but I like fantasy and role playing and talking shit and fucking saying shit that's fucking inappropriate. I like all that.
And it's not a situation where there's actually other people there or anything like that. It's always toys or sex dolls, something like that. It's that's not real.
Now we've had other girls and shit, but it's just actually that's complicated.
It is
to do that. It's kind of really not worth it.
Yeah, there's a lot of baggage.
Yeah.
That comes with that.
Yeah, the doll kind of showed up because my ex-girlfriend wanted to work with her and make videos and shit.
Yeah.
She was up for it. She was like, okay, yeah, because she does stuff too.
Yeah.
And that was Aleta.
Yeah.
And fucking Jenny was like, yeah, but then we had to pay her. And they're like, yeah, and then her fucking husband's gonna be coming over here.
Yeah.
So you're like,
and it's gonna be a whole thing.
She's like, I'll just simulate it with a doll. I was like, okay, yeah. We never got around to that though,
well, like I said, it just seems easier because you don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm not averse to doing shit with other people. It's just kind of that's a whole other kettle of fish that you have to deal with. Like I said, if it's a video, you have to pay this person. You have to get them vetted. They have to fill out all the paperwork. It's just kind of then it's just kind of
if you don't have a release form, you can't sell that video.
Yeah, you can't sell that video if you don't have a release form. It's just and they have to, take pictures of themselves with their driver's license and all this other kind of crap. And then it's is their husband or boyfriend going to come along? Are they going to want to get involved?
He's going to try to jump in.
It's it's going to be this whole thing.
Because Aleta's husband would try to jump in.
Right. So it's
I
just
know
him.
He's a friend of mine, but he's like, come on, man, come on. He'd be
he would. Yeah. So it's just kind of look, it's probably
that
much
shit would end up being
easier
complicated
to get just someone that's
and I introduced those two.
That's not going to complain.
I introduced my ex-girlfriend to her husband. All right. So and
they're married now.
They're married. That's what I said.
Yeah.
But my ex-girlfriend, I introduced her.
But they have
to
an
her
open relationship.
Yeah, it wasn't always that.
No, but it is now.
It is now. Yeah.
Neither of them seem to mind.
They go to swingers clubs and shit.
She doesn't seem to mind. They hang out at swingers clubs. Yeah. They keep inviting us, but we haven't.
Yeah. And they take videos. He'll fucking send me some videos.
Every now and then he'll.
They were doing it out in the parking
lot.
Like,
hey, look what we were doing. And it's like, okay, fine.
They're out in the parking lot in those cars doing shit too, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, every now and then. He's been sick actually the last few days, so he hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
I saw on Facebook earlier.
Who? Fucking Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him post earlier. All right, so
they need to go to fucking Barbarella's.
I know, but he's saying that like they're probably not going to go out much anymore.
You think they're not going to let him in there? He's in so much drama because he fucked everybody and did all kinds of fucking crazy ass
not
shit.
Me. I haven't fucked him. Okay. But a lot of people have, I guess.
Yeah. I don't have anything against him either.
I haven't. Yeah. No. A lot of people do. I don't really know why. I don't know what's going on back there, but you know. All right, so let me talk about this really quick case. I just put this on the end because it's like I didn't really know how many sidetracks there would be and that this would be a long show because the Kenneth Douglas thing was kind of short. So I was just kind of like, well, what else can I talk about? Now I kind of want to talk about this chick because this case was really fucking weird to me. Because like I said, necrophilia overwhelmingly, much like serial killing, is a dude thing, okay? Like women, very, very small percentage. However, this woman here is an exception to the rule, and she's probably one of the most famous necrophiles that isn't a serial killer. And her name is Karen Greenlee. Now, she's, older now. She was born in the late 1950s, 1958. Now, she was actually, the only thing she was convicted of, and this was back in the 70s, was stealing a hearse and having sex with the corpse that was in the hearse. Okay.
It was a male or a female corpse?
A male corpse, yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
We're going to get into that again.
I guess we'll get into that.
How do you do that?
Now, so her case was actually really interesting to people because, like I said, necrophilia is largely a male paraphilia. So she was like one of the very, very few women that was kind of open about being a necrophile. And she wasn't a serial killer or anything like that. She was just into having sex with dead people for some reason. And she was like pretty open about it. So she even gave like an interview to like this book that was kind of about kind of subcultures and shit like that. And, she kind of got famous because of that. Now, evidently, she didn't have like a great upbringing. She was like sexually abused when she was a kid, when she was 8. And I think like a teacher then raped her later when she was like a teenager. And so, like I said, she didn't have like a great start in life. Now, later on, she was from California. And she did get married later, but I think they separated at the time that this arrest happened. So what happened was that she was working as an apprentice embalmer at a mortuary in Sacramento. So like I said, this is kind of going back to what I was saying, was maybe she was into this kind of shit and she went and got that job on purpose, like for this particular reason. You know what I mean? Now, in December of 1979, she was driving a body of a 33-year-old man to a funeral. And she decided, this is according to her, she was driving to, the funeral, and she saw the family there, and for whatever reason, she decided she was gonna abscond with the body. So she said she just put on the brakes, did a donut, and took the fuck off. So she essentially stole the car as well as the body. And then they didn't find her for several days.
So she had it for that long?
Yeah, they didn't know where she went.
Now, who was the body?
He was, I have his name like farther down in the thing, but he was like a 33-year-old man.
Okay, so he was a younger guy.
Yeah, he was a younger guy.
She must have liked how he looked.
I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
So they found her later, and when they found her, she had actually like attempted suicide. Because they had to pump her stomach. She'd had like an overdose of Tylenol and codeine.
She was trying to join him.
And stuff like that, I guess. But when they found her, she had this really long, like several page confession where she not only said that she'd had sex with this dude that was in the hearse, but also with between 20 to 40 other male corpses.
Wow.
And said that she had an addiction to having sex with dead bodies. She had an
addiction to that dead dick.
I guess.
The dead dick addiction.
I mean,
That's something for Wang right there, man. He ought to have the dead dick addiction fucking video.
This totally sounds like something he should do.
Fucking Wang would.
Because I had actually never heard of this woman.
Yeah.
But apparently she's quite famous, like in necrophilia circles, if there is such a thing. I guess because she was fairly open about it at the time, like after she got caught. Because like I said, she wasn't a serial killer, but she was just like into it, like sexually, and she wasn't afraid of like talking.
What was her name again?
Karen Greenlee.
Karen Greenlee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send a message to fucking Justin Wang. Did say you gotta fucking talking Karen Greenlee.
Because this sounds like some fucked up shit to talk about.
The dead dick addiction.
I mean, it's not internet related.
Yeah.
But he does other stuff.
No, he does other shit
too.
yeah.
So.
Yeah. He'd probably do a good little show on this. It'd be funny. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So now, at this time in 1979, necrophilia was technically not illegal in California. It is now a felony, I checked, but in 1979 it was not. So the only thing that she was charged with was stealing the hearse and fucking with the funeral. Because obviously she pulled up to the funeral, saw the family, was like, no, fuck that, and then like took off and like stole the car. So all she got was 11 days in jail and a $255 fine, like for doing what she did.
Yeah, they slap on the wrist, nothing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it wasn't illegal at the time. Now it is.
Judge is like, oh man, he would have fucking given it up to that cute chick anyway.
I don't know what she looks
consented.
like, honestly.
Probably in his mind, he was dead.
I don't know what she looks like.
They're not gonna fucking defend the fucking virginity of a dead dude. A woman maybe, but I don't think a dude. Well, it depends on what they do. If somebody fucking abuses him, you know, pegging him while he's dead, they might fucking get mad about that. But okay.
I mean,
damn.
But the thing about it, like they did make her. She had to go on probation, and they did make her go to therapy.
Yeah.
Happily.
Yeah.
And she said that did help a lot. Like that she kind of, you know,
Karen Greenlee
got her shit together after that.
Yeah.
Now she did, her and the mortuary that she worked for, they did get sued for $1 million by the mother of the victim, like the dude in the hearse. And I think they settled like later on. Interestingly, they said that she had worked there for a while and like nobody had ever suspected that she would do anything. Like she seemed totally normal. Like nobody thought that she would do anything weird like this. So they were all kind of shocked. So yeah, the lawsuit eventually got settled for, I believe it was $117,000 in punitive damages. And then I kind of feel like she got more famous later in 1987 because she gave an interview about it. And it was called, there was this book called Apocalypse Culture. And she gave an interview, like, and the article was eventually titled The Unrepentant Necrophile. And the book was by Jim Morton. And she basically just talked, like, openly about it. She was like, she was kind of into the smell of death, like the whole funerary surrounding, like she was aroused by that. And she was, like, pretty open about talking about it. So she talked about other stuff in the interview too, like her suicide attempt and like, you know, how she'd kind of come to different things like during therapy and stuff. But a lot of people were fascinated by the whole necrophilia thing. However, it seemed like after that interview came out and she kind of got some notoriety about it, she kind of got like a lot of attention that she probably didn't want. And she later said, you know, she regretted doing it. And she actually ended up changing her name and moving someplace else so that nobody could find her.
Yeah.
So I don't know what she's doing now. Apparently she's still alive.
How old more or less was she?
She was born in 1958.
Okay, so she'd be in her 60s.
So she'd be in her 60s.
Late 60s, yeah.
At this stage.
58, no, she'd be 65, 66.
Yeah, because like I said, my parents were born in 1954,
Yeah.
and they're about 70, so 70,
Yeah.
71. So yeah, so she'd be in her mid-60s. But yeah, so she was one of the very, very rare women that was sexually attracted by death.
Yeah. Kind of like that movie, The Loved One.
Yeah, kind of like
with
that.
The
that's kind of what I was
chicks
thinking of.
All, yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of what I was
That's a
thinking
great movie. You guys ever seen the movie called The Loved One?
Yeah, it's from like 1965. I want to say something around there. It was like 60s. It's black and white.
Yeah, it's about a guy who gets involved with this weird fucking 60s goth chick who fucking works at a funeral home, and it's kind of like it's a fucking cemetery, but it's like a theme park cemetery. It's fucking outrageous. All right,
it's a great movie. It's a black comedy.
Yeah, it's comedy, and it's like a black comedy.
I was shocked that
yeah.
a movie like that had come out in the 60s. Like, I had never seen it. Tom showed it to me, and I was like, wow, that's fantastic.
And I felt proud because she's seen every fucking movie.
I've seen it pretty much everything.
No, I showed her that. That was great.
That was awesome.
The Loved One. Yeah, you could probably get that on fucking Amazon.
I saw it, actually. I think it's on Amazon Prime for maybe $2.99 or $3.99. I think I saw it last night while we were
well
scrolling.
Worth fucking seeing.
It's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so...
Jonathan Winters is in it. He plays like 2 or 3 roles in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super funny.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like... It's
Doesn't
pretty
he
much
play
like...
several roles? I think he does play several roles, Jonathan Winters, right? He plays one at least.
Yeah. But like that's the thing about it is like that's like exactly my sense of humor. That's why I thought it was so funny. And I just thought it was so funny that it was made like back in the 60s because it shocked me that somebody was making that back then.
Yeah, they had goth girls in the 60s. They just they wore black. And
they didn't call them that.
They didn't call them that. Yeah, fucking Vampira. Mela Nurmi was one.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know what Karen Greenlee's up to nowadays. Incidentally, this was another thing that I just, off the cuff here. There was kind of a rumor / meme going around recently that morgues / mortuaries preferred to hire women to work there because of the prevalence of necrophilia. Because they were afraid the dudes were going to fuck the corpses.
Dudes were fucking corpses, yeah.
Now, from what I could determine, there is no evidence to support this. This was just a rumor that was going around. It wouldn't shock me if it was true, but I couldn't really find any evidence that it was true. However, one thing that I found was kind of interesting. It is true, though, that the number of women going to school for mortuary sciences has increased astronomically, like in the last decade or so. Some estimates that I saw, like women like in school for mortuary sciences, are like 60 to 78% of the students.
Yeah. A lot of them goth girls too.
Well, yeah, and people were like, "Why is that?" And they think maybe it's just because it's more acceptable for women to be in that line of work. Because prior to this, that was more like a man's.
It involves makeup. It involves dressing people and putting on a show. So because they're getting ready for funeral home type stuff. We talking about funeral home type morticians, right?
Well, morgues too.
Morgues too? Okay.
Yeah, which is, dressing dead bodies, like doing, autopsies, like shit like that. Like anything having to do with dead bodies.
Yeah.
That has seen a huge increase in women going into the field.
There was there's a YouTube channel by a cute goth chick who worked in the fucking funeral business, and that's what she did. She worked in a funeral home and did all the makeup and did all the thing, put on the shows, and she was just goth as shit. She loved it. She loved her job. She was like, "Oh, I like dead people. They don't talk. They fucking you can make them look pretty. Nice? And it's all these old people, and sometimes you get a young one and you make them look pretty, and fucking she's just kind of upbeat about it."
I mean, other than like all the disgusting shit you have to put up with, like especially like in a morgue setting, I can see why that would be appealing to a lot of people, because it's a job where, especially if you're kind of introverted, like I am, like it's a job where it's very quiet, like you don't have to deal with people yapping at you all the time.
Yep.
You just have like this body, and you just have to like make them look presentable. You have to do the thing, for everything. So I can see how that would be appealing,
and it's a very enclosed community.
Yeah, I can see how that would be appealing to a certain segment. And like I said, I don't think it's that weird that you've seen like this huge uptick in women doing mortuary sciences. Like in this, I think that women wanted to do that before, but I think it wasn't really like acceptable. Like maybe like people thought it was weird that women were doing that or were interested in that. But women have always been interested in that kind of shit. It's just that you were kind of thought as a weirdo if you wanted to be into that shit.
Yeah, that brings me back to that movie, See the Loved One. And it's about a dude who meets a chick who fucking is way into funeral stuff, and he fucking finds out about the whole system and shit. It's a bizarre movie. It's fun though. Fun.
Rebecca says, I wonder what the stats of female morticians in the death industry is compared to females who are into serial killer crimes. Yeah, see, that's another thing, is that women are super into true crime.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't know what the percentage is of like consumers of true crime media, but I kind of feel like, just from my own experience, that it's probably majority female. I'm really into true crime. Most chicks I know are really into true crime. So I don't know. Like, so to me, it doesn't seem that weird because, you know, I was into horror and shit like that, like even back in the 80s when it was kind of considered like weird to be for girls to be into that kind of stuff. But I kind of feel like it's less weird nowadays, and I kind of feel like that's why you see more women coming out and being into like the mortuary sciences and doing you know, being like pathologists and things like that, because it's just kind of like it wasn't acceptable. I kind of feel like it wasn't socially acceptable, or it was still seen as weird maybe even as recently as the 80s or 90s for women to be into that. But now it's not as weird, so I kind of feel like more women are being like, yeah, I just want to do that. You know what I mean? So maybe that's all it is. But I just thought that was really interesting how the mortuary sciences students are now like overwhelmingly like female, like majority female, which I thought was kind of interesting. But I don't think it has anything to do with mortuaries or anything like that, just hiring women because they're afraid that the dudes are going to fuck the corpses. I'm sure that's a concern, but I don't think it's enough of a concern that it would like, you know, factor into their hiring practices or anything like that. I don't know. Like for everything I saw, just they were like, yeah, that's not enough of a concern for us to like be bothered with it. But yeah, Phantom says the moral of tonight's show is wear a condom and don't mix drugs with alcohol because it might make you want to have sex with dead bodies and then go home to your wife and she smells dead bodies on your dick.
Yeah,
which, you know, that would be real messed up. You know what I mean? All right, so I guess it's past 10 o'clock, so we are going to wrap up the show for this evening. I was afraid this was going to be too short, but I guess I underestimated our ability to like
just stretch shit out,
yap about nonsense.
We got people fucking driving and fucking trying to sleep. We're gonna make the show long.
Yeah, got pills. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, had to take my pills for the evening. All right, so we're gonna go get some sandwiches. And hopefully you guys have a good rest of your evening. Thank you, everybody, for dropping by and hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for your super chats. Have a good day tomorrow. We will be back on Friday night, as usual, for our fun sidetrack show, which will be obviously sidetracks, but just kind of like this one was, but without an actual topic. You know what I mean? You know how we do. All right. So hopefully I see you guys again on Friday. Good night.